What's up? Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear Hart. Hart, can you hear me? Are you pretending to be on mute?
Yes, I'm pretending. Yes.
Yeah. I figured as much. Good evening to you all. I am obviously a little frazzled by this last 24 hours. We, as you guys know, we're planning on doing a show and tell for tonight with Tom McDonald. Tom told me 24 hours ago that he was hiding under two separate covers in bed. Yeah. His hair was in pain. All sorts of sickness going on. Don't know what's going on with him. He said he had a fever. It broke. Lost his voice though. Whatever, no worries. I told him we'll reschedule for a couple of weeks from now. And tonight, it was either gonna, to replace that show. You guys know it was gonna be either Jason or Hart or Jason. And Jason, if you're there, I haven't been into the chat yet, but if you're there already, don't feel bad. I still love you. But you were here more recently than Hart, so I had to ask Hart first. There you go. Don't feel jealous.
I think you picked the worst out of the two.
Well, I like to pick guys who don't really want to be here. But you know what I mean? Like,
I hate you.
Make them make them do what they don't really want to be doing. All that kind of good stuff. Just want to quickly shout out to my newest subs. So I wanted to mention the last dozen of you, or 11 or 12 of you, shockingly, I don't know, unless YouTube changed something recently, the last 11 or 12 consecutive subscribers, I haven't been able to see your names. So yeah, you're all anonymous. So there you go. Whoever you are, I hope that the reason you subscribed is because you saw something on the channel that you enjoyed. And I would hope that you would come back during the live streaming of the shows here on Sunday night, because that's where it's the most fun. And that's what the channel is geared towards. It's the live viewing. Because I make you guys a part of the show if you appear and are willing to talk in the chat, in the live chat. I will interact with all of you. So thank you for subscribing. To those of you who have, I appreciate it. Really, it's like, is it a sales show tonight? And I didn't know, because there's like, suddenly it's jumping. The comments are like jumping from 12 to 25 to 36, 37. Like, what's happening? Okay, well, I don't want to, I'm gonna have to catch up with those soon. So before okay, no, you know what? Let me just jump in because otherwise I'm never gonna catch up. Okay, let's see who's here. So Scott Wingo, don't know if you're still here. I know you were first, but because I always forget. Everybody, please don't be like Scott, who was the first one here and then didn't. He was so excited to tell me he was the first one here, but didn't bother to hit the thumbs up. Come on. Can you please hit the thumbs up button right here below this screen somewhere? I would appreciate to all of you. There's not that many here as you. Well, it's not too bad for the first few minutes. So there's almost 2 dozen so far. As you trickle in as usual in the first few minutes, please hit the thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Hello, Mr. Rajak. Good to see you as always. #1 Marvel fan. Hey, the Rickster as always, and of course, Jason Ladwig is here. I had no doubt, Jason. I had no doubt. And Lee, what's up, Lee? Good to see you too. And wow, Hart, did you find some germs in the audience? I know there was at least one.
There's one germ, yes.
One germ, okay. In the studio?
Could be. I don't know. I've been licking all the walls.
How dare you? That's okay. I forced you to be here with me. That's the least you can do is like rip into me for that, So that's okay. You're allowed. Hey, TJ, what is up? Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, everybody.
Mucky Poo Poo, what is up, Michael? Good to see you. And look at that. The guy who was on death edge, back from the edge of death. Hello from Chicago. There he is, Tom McDonald. He'll be back with us a couple of weeks from now. So I hope you're feeling better, Tom. That's all that matters. So please continue to get better. John Brown, good evening to you, sir. Always lovely to have you here. And to my lovely wife, of course, Vivian, thank you. And who else we got here? Hyder, hey, what's up, man? Hey to you. Kenneth, good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Murdoch, what is up? Hope he gets better. Yeah, exactly. It sounded pretty terrible. Nah, don't apologize. You already apologized, and like I said, it wasn't necessary. I do appreciate it, though. You know, as a general rule, you guys, you know by now when things kind of go wrong, I will, as an emergency, I'll still go live and whatever, man. We'll shoot the shit about whatever. So even if we have to break a planned, scheduled appearance, it's never a big deal. I'll go live anyways, and we'll still talk. So, but no worries. I'm glad that you're able to come back in a couple of weeks, Tom. So that's cool. All good, my friend. All good. Yeah. The love of a Rubén. I try, Hyder, you know, I do try to be very loving to you all. Look, wow, we haven't seen him in a while. Look at that, Shaggy Wong. Good evening to you, Shaggy. Wow. To what do we owe the pleasure? Wow. And let's see who else is here. Marcus. Whoa, his first comment only 4 minutes in. Not only, I mean that far. 4 minutes in, Marcus. Wow. Must be famous. Who must be famous people? I don't know.
Must be Marcus. Marcus is famous.
Marcus, you're the most. Yes, you're the most famous one here for sure. You know that. You know, Taylor Swift is hiding her name. Not getting that one. Marcus is claiming. I don't know what we're showing, but I don't have really anything to claim here. So I'd let you claim if I had something I could show you, but I don't have anything.
You got me. You got me. I could be claim one.
You can claim Mr. Van Life himself, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of famous for that.
You could join my van. Just come on over to Southern California. I know where you are.
Exactly. And yeah, I am ready to mock Hart. Of course, you know that's what I do. I mock you, but you mock me in return. It's all fair in love and war, as you know.
This is the mock-up show.
It's the mock-up show, absolutely. You know. And let's see what else. Hey, Dan Evan, good to see you, sir. And who else? Larry Wong. We got Shaggy Wong tonight and Larry Wong tonight. Maybe the first time that both of you guys are here. We got the two Wongs. Tu Wong Fu.
Make one right.
I remember that one. Did you see that, Hart? Tu Wong Fu.
Yes. Yeah.
I forget what was the subtitle to that. Tu Wong Fu.
Marcus would know.
Thanks for the memories, or I don't know. Tu Wong.
It's the one with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. And
you know, it's somebody
yeah.
Google it. Somebody Google it.
Yeah. It's like, but hey, Jeff Wedding, what is up? They can rebuild you. Yeah, nice. Wow, Pad Bear. You honor me, my friend Pad Bear. You honor me because being in Wales, I mean, you know, and we're having to work the next day, and you're still hanging out here. You honor me, so that's all I can say. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see who else. Let me catch up. We got Dan. This looks like a splash page. What looks like a splash page? Why is everybody talking about art? Somebody's claiming this guy's talking about a splash page. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Nice, Mike. I love that one. Mike's got it tonight. Mock you, pay me. Exactly. Nice. Beautiful. Love it. Oh my God. Wong Fu reference. Yeah, exactly. That was a good one. It was perfect. You got two Wongs. So Tu Wong Fu. It couldn't have been more perfect timing, right? A non-E mouse is famous. Thank you, Rick. Yeah. Larry Wong is saying that
nice one,
right. Two Wongs do not make a white. Yes, that's good. I like that. That's it. Jason's the first one to get it. Thank you. Yes, Tu Wong Fu with love. Julie Newmar, of course. Thank you, Jason. That's awesome. The Oscars are tonight. Interesting. Okay.
I'm not watching. Are you?
I mean, I used to watch, but not for the last few years. Whatever.
I mean, it's hard to go to the movies nowadays because there's not much to really watch.
Yeah. Hey, Mikhail. What's that? It's is that a? Oh, it's a wave. I think it's a wave because it looks like a. it looks like a hand holding a weight. So it reminds me of that. Remember Shake Weight?
Shake weights.
Remember Shake Weight? And then did you ever see that Saturday Night Live skit where they made fun of Shake Weight? And then the girl was like, oh, yeah.
Is that two Wongs shake weight?
Yeah, man. That was classic. I couldn't believe when I first saw that. I literally, I was staring in disbelief thinking, this can't be real, right? Like, this is some kind of like just a joke kind of commercial or whatever. And then I couldn't believe it was actually real, a real product. And they actually did that kind of demonstration. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Crazy, man. Thanks for everything. Newmore. Yes. Jason was first online when that premiered. Apparently. Okay. So Mikhail is only speaking in sign language tonight. First he waved, and I got that one. But now he's saying, all right, wave.
He has a wave.
Yeah, see, I'm starting to catch on, right? I'm starting to finally, get a little quicker with this stuff. Thank you, Mikhail. There you go. I thank myself too, because I'm finally not needing my friend's help to figure it out for me. I appreciate that. Evening to you, Carl's Collection. What is up? Carlito, good to see you, my friend. CJ, PG show, Ruben Easy. It's actually not a PG show, just FYI. It's not a PG show. It's not. I always click not made for kids. So there you go. Yes, Carlos, the guest he's actually here in the chat with us, Tom McDonald, but he got sick very suddenly. So we had to reschedule for a couple of weeks from now.
But he will be back.
That's it. So there you go. Popped in seeing Ruben doing the shake weight. What great timing to see me doing. Oh yeah, shake weight. Oh, excellent.
That's going to be a meme. You know that right now.
Oh well, it gave me a lot of laughs. The real one gave me a lot of laughs. So if somebody makes a meme out of mine, then well, so be it. Whatever. It was good.
Except Marcus is probably going to put not shake weights.
He's telling me that I'm very natural with that motion. Trust me,
Must be a pro.
Trust me, it's because I saw a lot of that. I used to be enchanted by that. It was so good. I just kept watching it every night. So you kind of like, it burns a hole into your memory and it stays there forever, when you see something like that. So going to dinner, but wanted to ask everybody to hit that thumbs up. Have a great dinner, Nick. And,
yeah, Nick. What's for dinner, Nick?
Hit the likes, everybody, please. Can you hit just the thumbs up down here somewhere, please? There's 27 of you now. Can you all just hit the thumbs up if you haven't done so already? Not much to ask. Just click. That's it. I'd appreciate it. How many likes do we have so far? What pathetic amount do we have?
I see only 12, so I'm not up to date.
Crap. Okay. Well, anyways, everybody, please hit the like. It's not, really. It's not.
Or unlike for me.
Or unlike for him. Yeah, whatever. Met Julie Moore a couple of times. Stunning beauty still and very funny sense of humor. Yeah. Grew up loving her. Steak night, Nick. Of course it is. What else is it going to be? Likes are free. Comments are 11 cents. Pizza is always on the menu at the EXP. Nice. Okay, so let me quickly, everyone, just before we get started with the chat, I just want to do a couple of promos here. Let me first, since I just spoke to him, let me give you guys the latest promo for the latest video from Carl Sodergren from Carl's Collection. And he put out a video several days ago. This is a direct link to it if you want to watch. And he goes and talks about a few collections, book collections, not original art, but like omnibus. So it was a fun video. I enjoyed it myself as always, Carl. So thank you for the content. And the rest of you should check that out if that's something you think you.
Ruben, I got a question for you. Do you like omnibuses? Because I find them hard to hold.
Yeah, no. I in fact, I can tell you, in fact, not only do I not like omnibus, I don't like because of the heft and the weight.
Yeah,
but in general, for that same reason, I generally don't like hardcovers. I try to buy trades only because I don't like hardcovers. The thing is I don't read on a table. Like I'll never put a book down on a table and read it that way. Yeah. I always like I'll be sitting back in a sofa, a chair, whatever, let's say like this,
Reclining.
and I have the book on me, and I find that hardcovers, not only are they hard, but they're heavier, and I find it digs whatever part's leaning on me, it digs into that part of the body, and it kind of starts hurting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just find that uncomfortable, and so I prefer the softness and the malleability of a trade paperback.
Well, one thing that I also don't like is the coloring, because the stock and the coloring kind of makes no sense sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just they color it like really saturated and just weirdly.
Okay, so, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Should you watch that first before this video? You mean Carl? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you're okay. I don't want to score low on the quiz. You, my friend, would never score low on the quiz. You're a fountain of knowledge about everything published, it seems. So Carl's got a great mix of videos. He certainly does. Omnibus is not so famous. Look at you. Omnibus Madness. I ordered 2 that Carl shared. Wow, look at that. Carl, you produced some sales just because watching that one video. That's awesome, #1 Marvel fan. That's really cool. Ruben, and you had strength training with the shake weight. Yeah. I know. I'm not saying I couldn't lift the omnibus, with less, with more ease. I could, but still, I don't find it. I don't find it comfortable. Oh my God, he's still here. Look at that. I like the look of them on the shelf. They look nice. Don't get me wrong.
They do look nice.
Look nice, right?
Yeah.
Hard covers and dust jackets and all the. Of course, they look nice. Like I said, for ease of use. That's why I just, lighter is better for me and more malleable. Yeah, that's it, So even Carl says it himself. They are not fun to read. Yeah. Tonight's topic, large book reading positions. Yes. Hardcovers are very awkward to hold and read. See, Mr. Redjack agrees. Thank you, Mr. Redjack, for admitting to that. And, okay, some laughter. CJ, thanks, good sir. What are blue lines and are they collectible? Look at Jim. He's always starting up with us. I'm same as Carl. I buy omnis of great stories. I love. There's a lot of them to get. Yeah. Okay.
I would like to see an omnibus that's blue lined.
An omnibus of all blue line. Yeah. That could be interesting for sure. And it would probably cause controversy, no doubt. Right?
No doubt. No doubt.
I would say. Yeah, I would have to say. Also, everyone. Let me also give you a link to Karen's Pages' latest video, and that would be here. And she did an art unboxing this week with 3 pages. So I'm not going to say what they are, so I won't spoil the surprise, but that is the direct link to the actual video that she did. 3 pages and really fun stuff. So check that out, please, when you have some time, if you haven't already. Oh, and congratulations to Karen on just today hitting 1,500 subscribers. So
nice. Real
good
nice.
on you. Good on you, Karen. Come to think of it, she's got 1.5. I've only got 5. Why am I still promoting Karen? Karen she should be working her ass off to promote me. I'm the pathetic little channel now that needs to be promoted,
But Ruben, you're the good guy. Come on. Good guy Ruben.
Are you insinuating she's the bad girl?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding, Karen.
I thank you for that, though. I thank you. Thank you for having my back on that part. I appreciate it. And yes, kudos. Thank you. Yes, kudos for her for sure. And okay, so let me see. Jason. Yeah, okay, they're talking to each other. 333 times the fun. Let me see. Talking to Nick. Okay, Scott. I think you meant Scott Dunbeer.
Yeah, Dunbeer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually Dunbeer, believe it or not.
Oh, really? Oh.
He'll get angry if you say Dunbeer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm done with my beer, that's.
You better just be doing with it. This would be safe. Yeah,
I'll be doing with it.
Be doing with it. Being done.
Bring it doon.
It makes him angry. That's so funny. Okay, so that is the second to last one. And Nicky B, awesome. Nicky B still hasn't gone to go get his dinner like he claimed he was going to. So it works out perfectly because now I can also put in one last link into the chat. Yes, Nick, I found it this week, my friend. I found it. No thanks to you not sending them to me anymore. I keep working hard for you. So I did get it. And I'm so proud to finally have found one this week. So let me pop that into the chat here. Everybody, here is the direct link to this coming Friday's original art experience at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, with your awesome host, Nick Barucci. And this is the nice gentleman right here. Check that out. And of course, as always, you can find him on, yeah, well, it's youtube.com/theexp. Sorry, here it is. youtube.com/theexp. And yeah, another fun show coming up this Friday, everyone. Get your art claims in. So there you go. Check that out. Very good. Okay. Glad I could at least get the waiting to the last second to make sure I gave you the promo. I think that's what you're checking up on me, right?
Nick, go get your steak. It's getting cold.
Yeah. Don't let that steak get cold, man. Nick is waiting for the appetizers. They take forever. Yeah. Quesada Ninjak promised again. Okay. I am not into the Ninjak thing, but okay. Some people maybe, Okay, so everybody, as you guys all know, because I told you now that Tom having been sick and not able to lost his voice, not able to talk tonight, having to sort of do the show on a wing and a prayer, sort of, so to speak. Didn't really leave much time to even plan for a, sort of thinking of, hey, what kind of awesome topics could we cover tonight? But I did want to bring something up because, interestingly enough, Hart and I were talking privately earlier this week, or about a week ago or so ish, and Hart mentioned that he told me that he came to the point where he's deciding that he needs to sort of whittle down the collection somewhat. And, it got me thinking, like, okay, interesting, because, I've spoken about that topic on this channel several times. And I've mentioned several times how I myself, for the last few years, keep thinking, like, I want to stop. I'm ready to stop. I want to stop. But, the addiction keeps me going. Not as much as it used to, right? I don't go seeking art. I only kind of go for it if it crosses my path, so to speak, right? It's like if I see it and I like it, I will still collect it, right? I'll buy it. But I no longer go to, dealer websites and search for the stuff or whatever. I don't even typically do a lot of the going to see what's at the latest Heritage auction or Comic Link or whatever. I only typically go if somebody that I know mentions, hey, did you see, whatever, the latest Grummet piece that they put up or whatever on that, auction. And then I'll check that out. And then I'll, because I'm already there. Okay, let me see what else they have, kind of thing, But for the most part, yeah, I'm not out there seeking it. So, yeah, I'm trying to wind down, I guess you can say. I'm trying to make it there. And so, I always find it an interesting topic because it gets me thinking. I know why I have my reasons why I kind of want to get there. But everybody has their own reasons. And I always kind of wonder, when people do make that decision, what was the thinking that went behind it? What precipitated, the thoughts of starting to think about, what, I think I need to maybe whittle it down, or I need to start selling it all, or whatever the case may be. And so when you told me about that, Hart, I will say, given that we're both of a similar age and of a certain age, like most of the people in the hobby, it's not shocking to me, given our ages, that you said this. But I was a little surprised, if only because in past private conversations, I don't recall you saying anything like, you know what, I'm thinking of maybe, whittling, so it kind of came out of the blue. For me, it felt like it came out of the blue a bit. Yeah. So I was wondering if you know, I thought we would talk about that a little bit. And since we have a guy right here in the studio with us who is currently in that mode of, hey, I think I need to whittle down the collection. It's time. Would you mind, maybe for the benefit of everybody who maybe at some point is thinking about this, and you know, telling us what went behind your what was behind the impetus to do this, and what, you know, your basic thought process, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I used to collect pages that hit my nostalgia fancy, you know, and then I got into pages that had a particular character, and I just ran from there, right? So
Yeah.
you started hitting eBay, hitting all the auction sites, hitting the dealer sites. I'd scour around to find other people on CAF that might have a page that they're selling. So I did that for a couple decades now. So it's been at least 20 years that I've been doing this. So, and I'm finding out that I'm not as thirsty to collect as I once used to be. So it's kind of, my aim has lost its direction, I would say. I'm not in the hobby as much as I once was, primarily because there's two factors. One is the pages like for Silver and Bronze Age have gotten up in skyrocketing prices, and you know, even the pages that aren't the skyrocket, they're still being moved up, you know, incrementally by the big numbers. So, and the other factor is the newer stuff from new artists are priced as hot items because the artist is hot or the series is hot, and it's just making them be 4 figures, 5 figures, and I can't understand that. I can't understand. If you can buy a Kirby for $2,000 and then you buy a, I don't know, Sean Gordon Murphy for $10,000, how is that kind of working out for me? It's not, right? So I'm kind of out of the picture on that.
To be clear, though, so everybody understands, you are not somebody who attempted to get on that $10,000 bandwagon,
no,
right?
No.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But even if I was, because it can be possible, right, for anybody to go that route, but to logically think that I'm going to throw that much money towards that hot artist without kind of anything back it up with, I don't know, if you look at Kirby, he's got history, right? And he's the shit, essentially. So, and he's proven that he is the king. Most new artists, they are starting out, but they are pricing at exorbitant amounts of money for their pages. But I understand that they want to be paid what they think that they're valued. I'm an artist. I would like to get paid for what I think my value is, but right. I can't say that my paintings are worth $10,000. You know, that if you got a Picasso and you got mine, which one were you going to pick, right? Somebody with history or somebody that has no history, things like that. Yeah. And I'm not putting down any of the new artists. I'm just saying that for me, I can't go forward with that momentum anymore.
Right. So the advice is, since you don't want to get, you know, you don't feel like it's bothering you that you got to spend $10K to get on that guy's commission list.
Right. Yeah.
The advice is Kirby is plentiful. Buy 5 Kirby's. Just buy Kirby.
Just buy Kirby, like Marcus says. Yeah.
Like Maki Poo is saying, Kirby better than SGM. Yeah, so a lot of Kirby love all of a sudden tonight. So there you go. That's their advice to you.
Well, I used to have like 8 or 9 Kirby's. Now I only have 1, you know?
Yeah. That's so funny. I also want to address a few comments that I saved so you guys don't think that I ignored you on purpose or anything.
Nice, Marcus.
So just wanted to quickly say, I noticed that Lee says he did an unboxing show last week. So, wow, inspired by Carl's videos. I'm very disappointed that I didn't inspire you, but I'm glad that Carl did just the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that. And, you know, it's weird that, like, why wouldn't YouTube like you're here. You've been on my show as a guest, Lee. You're in the live chat. I don't get the algorithm thing, right? Like, why wouldn't it send me, your video? Why wouldn't it put your video unboxing in front of me? Instead, they're putting videos of like a lot of comic book guys, like guys that always seem to think that everything they see is sick. So I don't get that, but I will check it out, Lee. I will check it out. That's so cool. After the show, we'll check it out later tonight. And after that, Carl said, that's awesome. He loved the haul that you opened up. Carl already caught it. So that's great. So that's really cool. And what else do we have here? So Lee says, trying to wind down. Interesting. Like me, but wind up buying more. So like me too, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it is kind of more. I guess monetarily speaking, I spent more in art last year than I ever did before, probably. But having said that, I've shifted to more and more. I'm turning over. So more and more I've gotten to where it's less new money into the hobby and more rotational effect by selling stuff that I already have and to bring in the new stuff. So at least that way I don't feel like, okay, I'm getting older. I want to stop, but I keep dumping more new money into it,
Right.
So
but that's a little bit of a circle, right? I mean, you're going up against, yourself to, even if you feel that you want to wind down.
Yes, but at least I feel like the size of the collection doesn't technically keep growing bigger.
Okay.
And the value doesn't get bigger other than, instead of having these growing in value right in my collection, it's these over here that I kind of rotated in, right? So that's kind of an equal, they even each other out. But yeah, during the transaction itself, it's not adding more value because I spent new money for those pieces. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I mean, my aim is to go down to like 20 or less pages out of So I really want to get to that point because I've got some pages that I want to keep for my kids because my boys would want a couple of the pages. Even if they don't want them for themselves, they would get to sell them later on, kind of investment type. But the rest would be just compacted into character that I like, splash that I like, the commissions that I like, and that's it. And then just make it so tight that I don't have to worry about going into the market again to sell. And I know that's a big to-do list, but it's an aim for me right now because especially right now, I'm not buying. I'm just, got focused with other things, private projects, as well as my wife and I, we want to travel more. We're going to Japan again in November, October, things like that is happening, life stuff, right? I don't want to be bogged down by the collecting bug, keeping me centered on that hobby.
No, that's great. And I got to tell you, you're saying it with conviction, way more conviction than a lot of other people who I've talked with who are talking about, I think I want to get rid of it. You're clearly way more focused on what these other things in life you want to do and accomplish, right? And so I can see how you likely, I have more hope for you than for myself at the moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Well, I hope I'm crossing my fingers, that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Of course. Absolutely. But even Carl, look, Carl's a younger guy, at least younger than us.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I'll keep buying some newer stuff that piques my interest, but I largely ignore auctions, which is a good way to not go so crazy.
Right.
Because the less you see, right, the less you're going to buy. It's guaranteed, Carlos says that you've lost your mojo.
Yeah,
it's like losing your mojo for collecting. Your
life path changes, right? I mean, hobbies change too. It's with anything in your life, you kind of lose your zest towards it, And right now, I mean, I don't read comics in single issues. I buy the trades. That's how I lost interest in buying monthly titles, right?
Yeah,
Same thing with art. It's going the same pathway of, that little model of, okay, I'm done with this. Now I move on to something else.
Yeah, sure. No, that's good. And that's what kind of life is for a lot of people, right? This stood me a good stead for many, many years. I had my enjoyment out of it. And I have, your interests change,
Right.
It's kind of like a lot of us who do collect art currently. We were once all strictly comic book collector and readers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we either knew nothing about original art, or we were aware of it and just it just didn't register. Just that we didn't care, It was just, whatever. What, I don't know what that is. Who cares about what that is? We're into we're into our comics, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually at a certain point, our interests, our focus changed, and we kind of like get less and less into the reading and collecting comics and into the art, and so it's the same thing, except what you're delving into now is interests in life that are not related necessarily to this hobby. That's all.
True. I hope that one thing that the newer kids or newer people, collectors that are in the hobby, they understand that at some point they're going to experience this too, because I hope they don't think that they're going to be in it for life.
Right.
It's
Well,
not.
some guys are though, but some guys are. Some guys
are.
No. Hold on. I just want to tell you. I started to interrupt, but I have to say, there's guys like Mickey. Mickey, if you're listening, he's usually listening and not talking. Mickey, if you're listening, Mickey told us once, like, oh, no, I might, because we talked about what's your exit strategy in this hobby, right? Like, what's your exit? And I believe you should have one.
Right.
But collectors like Mickey, there is no strategy. They plan to collect until they die. If they die, whatever, they die while they're collecting, and that's whatever. Somebody else will take care of it, and that's that.
Let me ask you this: does Mickey have a plan when he passes away where the collection will go? I mean,
we need to ask him that.
Yeah, that would be something that I would be wanting to ask Mickey, but that's because most of the time your hobby, nobody else is going to care about it. Your kids, your wife, or whatever, your spouse. Right. It's not going to be their aim in life, their focus. So you need to have some kind of a plan for the next part of this collection going to something else, or get liquidating it before you pass away. You might want to liquidate it because you got health issues too. I mean, that's life. Plans happen like that.
Exactly. And as I've mentioned on numerous occasions before, the reason I keep thinking over the last few years, that I want to start unwinding, is because for me, it has always been about eventually cashing out while I'm still alive, willingly, so that I can leave the money. So I know the money will always be here for my wife and daughter,
right?
In case anything should happen to me. That's my impetus personally. That's my own, I just want to leave whatever legacy I leave behind. It's pretty much all tied up in the collection, right? So I would rather not kick off suddenly, right, unexpectedly, and then then they've got a legacy, but a lot of work to cash out of that legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just my thinking. That's why I keep thinking and talking about it. So that's it. Lee says the auctions are where I'm participating more. I know, and that's why it never ends. That's why it's like a death spiral that never ends, Lee. You know that.
Auctions make you want to do it, right? I mean, there's I got to be better than the other guy. I got to be more involved and get the money in there or whatever it is. Hit that button,
Yeah.
It creates that fever that you get when you're in an auction. I mean, be it eBay or an actual auction house, it doesn't matter. It's just I got to beat this person because they might get this page and I really want it.
Yeah, like you said, the fever. That's a good way to put it, right? I got the fever. Carl makes a good point, right? Like, that once you start downsizing, it actually becomes much easier to keep trimming.
Yeah, good one, Carl. Yeah,
that makes sense. I
agree with Carl. Yeah,
the hardest thing is to make that initial move and just make those initial, like especially if you're somebody who has never really sold stuff.
Right.
If you've always been one of those people who always puts new money to get the next piece, and you never sell. Wow. For those people like Marcus, for example, for sure it becomes incredibly, it's just, that's the biggest step right there. It's so difficult to make that move and make that first sale and say, okay, I'm parting with this, Yeah.
Marcus is going to outlive us anyway. Come on. We know that.
Probably will. So Dan says, in the coming years, I'll be auctioning some huge pieces, not because I'll ever stop collecting. Interesting. Instead, I'm setting up a trust to donate to charities well after I'm gone. Cool.
Oh, nice. Nice.
That's cool. I mean, whatever, right? Like my charity is my 2-person family,
Right. Yeah.
Your charity is charities, that more charities that people are usually think of when you say the word charity. So yeah, whatever reason, everybody's reason is their own, and that's fine, so but that's interesting. Way to go with that, Dan. That's cool.
Oh, Mickey's in the chat right now. He says, it's part of my will. My executor will know what to do. That's okay.
Is that Mickey?
Yeah, Mickey said that.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Mickey.
Thank you, Mick. Mickey, sorry.
Excellent. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm catching up here. I don't want to miss all your comments. So Alex says, I started with the newer pages, but now I turned my focus to 80s and 90s. Okay. So starting to go backwards a few decades. Auctions is where I'm building my collection for the most part. Thanks for letting us know, Alex. Yep, that's a pretty similar story to a lot of people, So that's pretty cool. Marcus says, cashed out when retiring from work. I'm curious, are you saying that, are you just throwing that out as a possibility, or are you saying that that's what you're kind of thinking of doing, Marcus? I'm curious. Mike says the entire collection may not be for life, but certainly some pieces will be. Interesting. You see? You see? So he's kind of planning to get rid of stuff, but some he's happy to just keep until he kicks off. That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. There's all kinds of sort of plans depending on who you talk to. Then feel free to donate to the Jason Foundation. Nice. It's been confirmed, Mickey. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And Dwayne's a pain. What is up, Mr. Oklahoma? My nieces and nephews are going to be fighting over comics and art when I die. That's cool. That's cool that it's nieces and nephews. That's pretty neat, I mean, little kids today, and then they get grow up one day and they get to say, oh, our Uncle Dwayne, he passed away. He was the nicest guy, and he left us his whole comic art collection. Oh my God, not that I'm, I don't want to see that day come, Dwayne, that you passed on to the other side, but it's sweet, and when it does happen that that your nieces, nephews benefit that way. So that's pretty cool. Rainbow House Hero Initiative. Iron Man won the Oscar. What? I do have a plan for when I pass. Okay, that's what he was saying. Robert Downey Jr. What are you guys talking about? I made a connection with a heritage rep last week at an auction preview. I've got that card for when I'm ready. Okay, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
An artist sold me 2 pages he would have never sold. He has cancer. Holy crap.
That's sad.
Is he keeping this private, Maki Poo? If so, keep it private, of course. But if this is public knowledge, can you please let me know who that is? Let us know, I guess, who that is. But if it's private, that's fine, obviously. Mm-hmm. That's sad to hear. Very sad to hear. Very nice of you. I'm planning not to die, Larry. Well, you know what? If you did die, Larry, we still have Shaggy Wong to take over for you. So, whoever goes first can take over for the other. We'll be, at least here on this channel, we'll all be good. At least having one real Wong, a live Wong, and one memory of Wong, a past Wong. So we'll be good. We'll be good. A legacy of Grummet. Exactly. That's the point. Is like, I'd rather leave the legacy of cash. That's just what it comes down to,
Cash is king, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Rickster says, here I go, playing stars. Okay, what are you singing? Playing star again? There I go, turn the page. I'm not getting the melody.
Don't get
what is it, Rickster? Let us know.
Yeah.
It's called the Heritage Plan. Yeah, well, for a lot of people, it certainly is. Cowbell will cure it. The fever. I need more cowbell. Yeah. So yeah, part of my will, executor will know what to do. So that's great. That's great. See, that's what I worry about with a lot of people, because I've spoken to people who I know don't have the succession plan. They're like Mickey. No, I know I've known people who like Mickey are like, yeah, I'm just going to collect till I die. But they don't have the plan of succession. They haven't even gone to the point of like putting on paper, okay, what happens to it when I do kick off?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what you were worried about, Hart, right? Because then you kind of have to worry, like, what happens, right? You just never know whoever it is that gets their hands on it and says, has to take care of the estate. You just never know if they know anything about the stuff, if they had any clue as to the value of it. You know what I mean? And then you just don't know. They could think, what is this crap? And I know it sounds hard to believe because, 2024.
Right.
Everybody knows comics are worth money. I used to say the same thing myself until I heard stories over the last few years that still comics would get thrown in the trash because somebody had to clear out somebody's estate, knew nothing about comics. They still thought it was, comics are for kids. That's just some kiddie stuff, garbage. And they tossed it in the trash. So it still can happen. So, yeah, that's what, you got to at least, if you want to die with your collection, it's fine, but at least have a plan of succession for it, Got a storage unit of Star Wars stuff to offload before I get to the comic. I'm sure you got plenty
nice,
of
Jeff.
storage units. You're not admitting to, Jeff. So I've sold rashly before. Have you? Now see that stuff go for tens of thousands.
Well, so have I. I mean, we've both probably done it. We've all done it.
Has it been many, many years though, Marcus? Like, I can't remember the last time I saw you post something for sale, say on CAF, let's say. But I don't follow eBay, so for all I know, maybe when you were selling me those Grommet pages on eBay, maybe you were also selling some of your collection or whatever. Like, what do I know? I don't know. But I don't think of you as somebody who sells typically. So it does become easier because Marvel, number one Marvel fan, otherwise known as Tom. Tom knows he's done it. It's all money sitting there. The more you sell, the more you buy of the new. To the Dave Mandel plan. Yeah. Trading out your comic art for TIE fighters and Millennium Falcon life-size, what do you call props or whatever?
Props. Yeah.
You got to have room for that too. I read your comment as my executioner. That was grim. Yeah. Maki Boo Boo. I don't know what you're calling him out for. Sell or not sell the Star Wars. There is no try. True that. I expect to retire in 7 years, and that is probably when I start selling. Interesting. Okay. And that's what should be done if you still have income coming in. Okay. But you have been selling here and there. Okay. Marcus says, comic art is not bulky enough to burden them. Well, it depends how much you have. There are some collectors who have thousands of pages, and that still makes like several stacks like this high kind of thing, so it depends. Oh, and actually, and that's only if they're stacked kind of on top of each other without being put in portfolios, right?
Marcus, have you sold in auctions or to other collectors? How's that been?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good question. When you have sold, where have you typically sold through? How have you sold? What channels have you used? This is not a movie channel. You like to think it is.
Yeah. It's not the History Channel either.
No. It sometimes becomes it.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about history of comics and art, yeah, maybe.
Well, then, just since you mentioned Matt, just a reminder, I don't have a thumbnail to show any of you tonight, but Matt is going to be with me next Sunday. And I think it's going to be really, really, I think you guys are going to love this. It's not going to be an original art focused episode talk, but it's going to be basically about the business side, sort of the investment side, business side, if you will, the value side of collectibles in general, and where we feel collectibles may be going.
You mean pricing wise, or how they are being treated?
Yeah, no, both, if you will.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
You know, making parallels to, you know, our collectibles at this point. Have they become part of the
Antiques Roadshow?
Maybe no, but like maybe no longer just an alternative investment for certain people, but maybe at some point becoming a sort of a go-to investment. Like it's like, okay, I got some stocks and bonds, and
okay,
for sure I'm getting some collectibles, like
mainstream stuff. In other words,
mainstream, yeah.
Okay. You got your gold, you got your corn, and you got your art.
Yeah. So you know that's kind of what it's going to be talking about. I don't give away too much, but yeah, tune in for that, everybody. You know, Matt is far more well spoken than I am, so he'll do most of the talking, and then we can all I'll interrupt him a lot to you know, when I don't agree with him or when I got to say something for whatever reason, and then you know I'll you know, all you guys and gals can, you know, post comments and questions as well to him. And if you don't agree with his views, you definitely got to pop them in, because I'll put him on screen and we'll talk about that and we'll argue back and forth a bit and discuss, you know. So it'll be a lot of fun. So check that out next week, please. He's the cousin. Is he the cousin of Shaggy Dong? Interesting, Carlos. Thank you.
Shaggy Dog is what I think he's referencing, but you know, old Disney movie, right?
Disney, yeah. I remember seeing it as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
Jason says, Hart, I thought you just got done saying Kirby was king. I don't know why he's saying that, though.
Oh. Well, I'll say it again. Kirby is king.
Okay, he said it.
Yeah.
Or Metallica. Turn the page. And I was like, what? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. It's weird, you know, sometimes when you're not in the thinking music mode or whatever, and you're just seeing the words and it just doesn't click, you know? You're like, you know it, but it's not clarifying in your brain, you know. So
well, we're both getting old, so we're kind of losing our brain synapses.
Yeah, exactly. So Marcus is telling us, okay, selling stuff to buy other stuff just to save from using new money.
Just what you said.
That's what I said. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing.
That's what you're doing. Yeah.
Wait a second. Are you saying that is what you did in the past when you did sell? You're not doing that now, right? Are you doing it now? Let us know if you're doing it now. Oh no, you're not. Okay, because I see.
He said haven't sold a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But can you clarify? You're saying here, when you did sell a long time ago, it was just to buy other stuff, so you didn't have to use more money. Just clarify that. I think that's what you're saying. And yet I don't want to say his name. He asked me to keep it private. I understand. It's sad, you know, because eventually, I guess, if he's well known enough, we'll probably hear about it when it's too late, and it's sad when that happens.
Yeah.
So that's a shame. But thank you for letting us know. It was a choice between comic art or drugs and prostitutes. I am regretting the artwork. It's never too late, though, Brian. It's never too late. The prostitutes never run out, you know. The drugs are always plenty and available.
As long as you get dollar bills for prostitutes, I think you're fine. Or is that? Oh, that's strippers. Sorry, that's a difference. Yeah, you don't pay in dollars to prostitutes. They would kick you out.
If you sell through Comic Art Live, it should be the easiest with no fees. Yeah, but like, it's probably something we should talk about. Maybe we should even talk about it tonight. Different avenues of selling, because there's pros and cons to everything, like literally everything. Every avenue, everybody has their favorites, and they think this one's the best, that one's the best, that one's the best for this reason. But then if you really spend time and think about pros and cons for each and every one, you will find that even the ones you think were the best, suddenly you remember, oh yeah, shit, that's true, I didn't think of that, right? And then you're suddenly, maybe it's
right.
Not, you know, it's not cut and dried, you know. It's. But
sometimes you have to bite the bullet and just go with one of them, because if you're not deciding on any, then you're just stagnant.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Mike is in for a 20th of an SGM commission.
Oh, really?
He's in to get a $500 piece. I get is what he's trying to say, but not 10,000.
Okay.
I think that's what he's saying.
Can I get a $2 version?
Hey, how is it possible, Dan, that 3 minutes ago there was only 19 likes? Didn't Nick Marucci say we were up to 30 like a half an hour ago or something, or 20 minutes ago? What the hell, guys? I don't know. Refresh. You might be behind, Dan. Refresh and then tell me. The Tudong fame, exactly. That's what I did that's what you did in the past, right? Okay.
We need more Wongs to hit the like button.
More Wongs than yes, exactly. Thank you to all you Wongs out there. Two Wongs do not make a white. That's right. Dropping out to make dinner. We'll try and jump back into bed. No worries. Have a good one, Jeff. Thanks for dropping in.
Jeff. See ya.
And I don't know what I said. It must have been me, or maybe it could have been Hart that made pain to your ears. But sorry, I came late to it. The money stayed in the bank account for peace of mind, but the art left, which is worth a lot more now. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, you're kind of maybe having regrets in that sense. Yeah,
I've had regrets. I've sold something for 600 and I saw it for 14,000.
Yeah, but
it's crazy.
But again, for those of us who've been around 20 years plus, it's, that's just whatever. That's life. That's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you move on. I mean, I'm sad that I didn't get the 14, but you know what? I sold it for what I thought it was a fair price. So at the time,
that's why I always say, you can't regret it.
No,
as long as you make sure you're happy or satisfied with the price you get when you sell it.
Right.
Don't go accepting somebody's offer that you in your gut feel like, oh God, I feel like I'm getting taken advantage of. Yeah. Oh, well, okay, I guess I'll do it. Like, don't do stupid things like that. That's idiotic. You know? It's better off, even if you kind of need the money now or soon, you're still better off toughening it out so you get a price you're at least happy with. That will save you the tears in the future. Those tears of regret, Because if you get what it was worth at the time, you can't regret it years later. That you know that it's going to happen. When you're selling it, you know the way the hobby works. Right. You know, years from now, whatever it is worth today, it'll be worth a lot more then. Right? We know that. So you can't be regretting it. I think it's only regretful when you really do get less for it than it's worth at the time you sell it. That's
right. Yeah.
Right. That's just silly, So
that's on you then.
Yeah, exactly. Then it was on you. Absolutely. So Mickey says that about 15 years ago, guys, and think about that. That's a long time ago. I started seeing many financial advisors recommending that their clients put 5 to 10% of their portfolio in collectibles. Already that long ago. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah. And now we know, but listen, we say this all the time on my channel, right? Every single auction, there's literally tens of millions of dollars worth of art that just in a few hours gets soaked up by people, right?
Right.
Tens of millions at every single auction. So clearly, these are not just collectors, right? A lot of that stuff has to be people who think, wealthy people who I want to diversify, right? I've got plenty of hundreds of millions or millions and tens of millions in the stock market and traditional investments. Let me diversify, get in collectibles. That's hot now. They're going crazy. Look at the returns they've been making for the last 20 years,
Yeah, it's like the fine art industry. Banks, investors, they do the same thing with fine art. They hedge on the fact that it's going to raise eventually within the next 10 to 15 years, and they can double, triple, whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. Lee says he sells on CAF, Facebook, eBay. Recently tried Comic Link for the first time. Exactly. I mean, try them all, right? Until you find the ones that are like the ones that you like the most. You'll never really know unless you try. I'm not saying you should try every avenue, because there are some places that I wouldn't try no matter what for my own reasons. I'm not going to get into whatever. Just certain auction houses that I just don't like how they operate.
Right.
Just the way the auction process works on their platforms. So for that reason alone, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't do it. So, SGM. What about SGM? Sorry,
I don't think he knows it's Sean Gordon Murphy. Carl, that's the artist.
Oh, yeah. They were referring to Sean Gordon Murphy, Carl.
Yep.
Thanks for letting us know, Ricks. Okay, so I guess Dan, yeah, there you go. Dan was not refreshed, I guess. That's all. And Caesar as well. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. What's up, Caesar? And Marcus can't think that way. There's always ways to make money. What do you mean you can't think that way? I sold something for 40 and saw it sell for 20K.
There you go, CJ. I feel you.
But CJ, I believe you're talking about some of that Ramita stuff you sold back in like the 90s, the early 90s. I think that's what you're talking about, right? Let us know. But yeah, I mean, look, again, you can't honestly be telling me that, oh my God, every day you're feeling regret. Like, oh God, I can't believe that $40. No, there's no way that that's happening because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
It's not reality to even think, it's like me, because for anybody to tell me that something sold something for $40, and I'm not saying that that's what you're saying, CJ, but there are people who have said to me, okay, like I used to tell people, right? Back in 1990, I sold my copy of, it's like a solid VF copy of Hulk #1, a beautiful copy. Again, 1990, like 4 or 5 years pre-internet,
Right.
I had no avenues other than locally in my city. Okay. And Hulk 1 in the guide, I think, was probably only $750, $800 or whatever, anyways, in near mint, I sold my copy for like $500 on a flip of a coin at a convention with a dealer. Like it was either $550 for heads or $500 for tails. Or I was willing to flip and I lost it. Whatever. I took my $500, whatever. And I've had people say like, oh, you had a VF Hulk 1? Oh my God, you must regret that. I'm like, regret it? Why? And I know why they're thinking, but I want them to say it, And of course, they're like, oh my God, because it's worth like $250,000 today. And it's like, yeah. But
that's hindsight.
No, but not only that, but the fact that, do you honestly think that even, let's say, that fateful day didn't happen, and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to go to that con. I'm going to hold on to my comic book, right? If that happened, do you honestly believe, and this is what I'm telling the guy, do you honestly believe that automatically means that 34 years later in 2024, I'm still going to be holding that book? Of course not. Of course not. Because when that book went to $1,000 and it broke a 4-figure price for the first time in the price guide, right, a year or two later, I would have been, okay, I'm selling it now, man. Oh my God, I can't believe it's $1,000. This stuff is going crazy, right?
Right.
So I wouldn't own it today anyway. So you can't think that way. You can't have those kind of crazy regrets of shit you sold 30 years ago. It's ridiculous. You wouldn't still own it today if you didn't sell it on that day. You would have sold it soon after, no matter what,
Right.
So that's my whole point. So Carl says, like Obi-Wan said, let go. I like selling to other collectors. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people prefer to sell, person to person, whatever. But that also is, when you're trying to get rid of an entire collection, much harder, right? A lot of effort, work has to go into it at that point, But yes, it's enjoyable when you go person to person, for sure. Except when they flip it 5 months later.
Yeah. That's what happened.
That's the thing. When you sell art, for whatever reason, the reason doesn't matter. When you sell art, you need to tell yourself, this is another reason why you have to be happy and satisfied with the price you get when you sell it. Because
you have to cut the cord.
That second that it's out of your hands, it's not your business anymore. What happens to it, right?
Yeah.
You have nothing to do with it, and that person can already be posting it for sale on another website before you have even shipped it to him the next day.
It's like your car. If you got a car you're selling, right? You sell it, it's done, it's gone. If the person turns around and sells it for double of what you got, that's their bonus, right? It's not yours.
Yeah, that's it. So that's exactly it. So be happy with trying to get a good price for what you think it's worth when the time comes to sell it, so that you don't have regrets later. And always go into selling art when you're doing it personally, person to person. Always go into it telling yourself in your head, this guy may flip it. He may be buying to flip it.
Right.
And that's it. Tell it to yourself. You already get used to the fact that it could happen. And guess what? It's none of your business. Yes. Is it frustrating? Yes. But why let it frustrate you? If you just get used to the fact that it's common, and it'll think that it'll assume it'll probably happen, and then if it doesn't, you'll be happier. That's all. But assume it'll happen, and because guess what? Even if it happens, it's none of your business anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You got what you wanted at the time. It's not yours anymore. It's his or hers.
Yeah.
That's it. So I just wanted to read this out loud because Michael here is saying, so good investment, buying your home or setting money aside every month for your 401k. Well, sure. You can make so much more over time versus coming. I don't want to get into that argument because it's not necessarily true. And I don't have the time to because I would love to get into it with actual sort of facts and figures and stuff. That'd be more fun, It's not necessarily true, Maki Poo, that you can make so much more over time versus comic art. I mean, again, because if you even think about just in recent times, just in the COVID era, and yes, I'm just picking a select, short time frame that's not realistic. Nobody would have. Well, a lot of people, I guess, did come in during COVID. But yeah, you buy at COVID, and then 2 years later, a lot of the art was worth 5 times what it was selling for in the year before COVID. I guarantee you, even in the hottest real estate market, of which the last 20 years or so was a hot real estate market all over, certainly North America, Canada, and the United States. And people didn't make 5 times their money on their homes in 2 or 3 years. That didn't happen, and even in the last 20 years, the average price of the home did not go up 5 times, even in 20 years. A lot of doubles and triples, but not 5 times. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying to not buy your own home, but I'm saying it's not factual to say that as a general rule, buying a home will make you more money over time than comic art. I disagree there. How about you, Hart?
I agree because it's.
You agree with him?
I agree with you.
Oh,
because that's. It would need factual information. We'd have to show a bar graph and all that, the cost points and stuff. But for the most part, I'm just, you're right. In my opinion.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And CJ, thank you for confirming. CJ, you appreciate it. Yeah. Kirby and Ramita stuff. Yeah. Early 90s sales. Yeah. Crazy. But
also you have to look at, sorry to interrupt, but also you have to look at the artist sold the page to you for a set price, right?
Right.
And you bought it, you took it, held it on for, like, say, 3 years or 3 months. You flipped it for 3 times as much or whatever it is. The artist feels the same way that you should feel. They got rid of the page. They're happy with the price. Right. It's done. You should be the same way. You shouldn't be, regretting everything. I mean, yes, I've felt regret, but then it passes.
Yeah.
It goes away after a while. That's life. Yeah,
and the easy way to make it pass is by what I said, by the fact that if you're being realistic about it, you would tell yourself the truth and admit that, hold on, where is it? I'm going to post it. I should have. Hold on, Rick. Yeah, Rick says, talking about my Hulk 1 experience, I would have sold it 100 times since. You know what I mean? If it wasn't the next year, it would have been the year after that.
Right.
If it wasn't then, it would have been 3 months after that. Like, whatever, I wouldn't have just suddenly said, you know what? I'm holding this for the next 35 years. Forget it, It's not going to happen. So it's unrealistic and pointless to regret stupid stuff like that. And that's why CJ says, of course, it's crazy to think about it. It kind of makes it fun. It's a cool story it gives you, right? Yeah. But 0 fucks given. Of course, it's not realistic to think that you would have held on to it,
And plus, this is still a hobby, right? It's not a money-making machine.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts as a hobby for everybody. I mean, yes, there's speculators, investors, and stuff like that are coming in. But for the guys and gals that are into comics, they love the comic book, they love the series, the character, whatever. They want it because of that reason, not because of the 20,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is they'll make.
Yeah, that's right. No. That's exactly right. Let me quickly interrupt, take a break here to just to say thank you to all of you watching. I don't know why, but for a Hangout episode, there's 40 people right now. That's 3.5 dozen. That's substantially more than the average Hangout episode. And more impressive than that is the fact that it's happening on a night when we were supposed to have a show and tell that got canceled and got replaced. Like, I don't know what happened. Is there nothing else in the comic art community happening? Everybody suddenly is pouring in here. But I appreciate you. Welcome to all of you watching. Don't be shy, because in the chat, it's pretty much the usual suspects that are talking. So don't be shy and feel free to chime in, all of you who are watching silently, and give us your opinions, man. We'd like to talk with you all. So please do that. Don't be shy. That's what the whole premise of my channel is for you guys to tune in live and then interact with me, and I'll interact with you here from the chat and the studio. So
it might be my new haircut. I'm not sure, but you know what?
New haircut. I think they heard the word got out.
Yeah, but I encourage every anonymous person, please come into the chat. Just do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know,
it certainly isn't my haircut. Carl, I feel bad for you, but I think you better hit the can sooner rather than later. That would be a good idea if you haven't done it already. Mr. Red Jack says it's like the people who went apeshit collecting Cabbage Patch dolls, thinking that they'd make a fortune if they held on to them a year later. That was just a bit of an insanity thing. One Christmas, or pre-Christmas or whatever. But I think but whatever. It's a good enough example. Same thing with the what do you call it? In the late 90s, 97, 98, the little bears, the tie.
Teddy Ruxpin? No.
The company's name was Ty, T-Y. They made the tiny little cute bears. They all had names.
Yeah. Yes, I know. What was it? Not My Little Pony. It's just
something bears.
Yeah, Care Bears.
No, not Care Bears.
No,
Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies.
Thank you,
Beanie
Scott.
Babies.
I had to jump ahead.
Beanie Babies.
The Beanie Babies. Yeah, same thing, right? Dan says, don't forget the $600 page that you bought in 95 is $1,300 US today in the equivalent, only inflation adjusted, right? Inflation is the big reason for the new prices for 14 bucks. Yeah, exactly. Those 14 buck hamburgers. Shit, if you only buy like a bacon, like one of these bacon type double cheeseburger type things, I think it's 12 bucks at McDonald's now. It's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Hey, what's up, pal? Karen, I promoted you at the beginning, so if you want to see the promo, you can.
Hey, Karen.
If you want. Look at that. Heart's happy to see you as well. Good evening to you. Lovely to have you as always. Caesar says, never ever buy someone's sob story when selling your art. No, of course. Of course. Like when you're trying to sell it and they're, but I always wanted this. Oh my God. And it was like my favorite when I was a kid. Oh, please, can you just knock it down an extra 100? Yeah, I think that's what Caesar's talking about. Definitely.
I think I tried it with Caesar one time and he just laughed in my face, or it might have been a dream.
That's why he brought it up, right? That's why he brought it up, because you're
Caesar, please. It's my favorite.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Lee says, as far as purchasing a home, it's all about timing and location. That's for sure. It's always a good idea to feed a 401k. Absolutely. Yeah. If you have a 401k, you should. That's a basic thing. I would definitely say do that for sure.
Well, we don't have pensions anymore, right? That's what 401k replaced.
Say again?
Pensions were the thing. Right. Yeah, pensions. Yeah. So we're not all part of IBM anymore, or whatever it was,
Right.
Yeah.
Marcus is giving us some advice, though. Well, if it's a Roth IRA, I think those are, there won't be taxes at the end. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. You guys know more about that. The legalities of the investments from the American perspective are different from Canadian. So I can't.
Everybody get their own financial advisor, please. We're not financial advisors.
No, that's right. That's right. Don't take financial advice from us. We are not
from us.
Financial professionals. But please put all your money in comic art now.
Buy my stuff.
Yeah, as long as it comes from me or Hart. Buy it all, please. try buying a house in Hawaii. Are they going nuts? Are the houses but listen, even if they are, it shouldn't be shocking. It's friggin' Hawaii.
Yeah.
I would think that the housing would be crazy there, because at least from a tourist perspective, it's certainly a very expensive place to go. So I would think that would make the real estate very pricey there, you know?
I mean, Cali is expensive too, where I live, California, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how an apartment can be $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Market says that it's basically a passive investment. I think you're referring to like stocks, that kind of thing, stocks or your Roth IRA, that kind of stuff.
Could
that,
be.
You kind of let it
passive. Yeah.
Long term. That's what the point is. Whereas in art, you have to do more work. It's true, right? You're technically true, but people don't look at it as the same as if you had to do some work, like, you know, people who are self-directed investors and pick their own stocks and invest that way, right? You got to do a lot of research. Well, you don't have to do a lot, but those who don't end up not typically doing too well. But yeah, with art, the thing about it is that it's your hobby.
Right.
At least I'm talking about for the people like us who, you know, who start as a hobby, and then maybe we start thinking, okay, I think, look how much it's going up. You know, maybe I should put more money into this just for a future potential investment. You know, those of us who do that, yeah, there's work, but like it's work that, you know, you don't feel like it's work because you love it, right? Because it's your hobby anyways. You would do it anyways. It's like curating your collection, doing whatever you do to curate your collection. You know, it might take time and effort, but you're loving it because you're having fun with your collection. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, every once in a while, I go into my portfolios, open them up, look at them, and enjoy them as they are. Because, you know, most of my stuff is in portfolios, obviously not on the walls, but, you know, every so often I'm flipping through the pages. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot I had this one. I really like this one. This is cool. And, you know, you kind of get a little bit of spark back that you lost.
Yeah.
But at my point in my collecting phase, I'm past that, I think, more than anything. You know, because opening them up, it's kind of like, oh, I have this. Okay, fine. It can go towards somebody else, you know, or go to an auction house, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. Good points, my friend. Good points. Because it's this or the Academy Awards. Oh yeah, because that's to my question.
Yeah.
Who are the people? Yeah, but last year I remember. Well, no, I guess I don't. I can't really honestly say I remember how many people were watching live on last year's show that happened during the Academy Awards. But yeah, no, I don't know.
Was I on that day? I don't know.
What?
Was I on that day?
Oh, imagine.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We've gotten more mature.
Yes, exactly. Or less.
Less, yeah. There's that.
We get our age number goes up, but the maturity level goes down, you know, for sure. They're all here.
I'm still a 12-year-old, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And reality of death in comic art collecting and why you should dump it. Maybe that's why now there's 38. So a couple of people left. Marcus, we had those levels, sure, but was a lot of art at $100. That today is well over. Yeah, but #1 Marvel fan. Come on, Tom. I'm telling you, I've said this over and over. Think about what age you were, and you have to put yourself in that place. Where were you at that time? Say in 1995, right? Where were you in your life, in your station in life, both financially, both, you know, what were you doing? Were you married? Were you single? Were you living with your parents? Were you already?
Were you happy?
Mortgage or you know, all that shit, right? Believe me, back then in the 90s when I was first starting out, I felt like, wow, like I had the money to buy this $50 page and that $75 page and that $60 page there. But that was kind of it. Then I had to take those and I realized, I want to collect this stuff. It's too expensive to collect. If I have these first three pieces I bought, I don't know, it's going to be a while if I keep them before I can get another one, a fourth piece. So I'm like, you know what? Let me see what happens if I just make some nicer scans than what people make on eBay now. And let me put a nice, you know, description and see what I can get for them. And 2-3 weeks later, there I am putting them back on eBay, and I'm making good profits, good money.
Right. Yeah.
And then I realized, ooh, okay, I got something here, I think.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can make this work for me. And that's what I started doing. And that's how I think I'll turn it into a business and collect it at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I just want to state that you're making it sound, Tom, like, oh, $100 back then is still so much cheaper. And yes, it was. But again, depending on your station in life, where you were at that time, $100 was still considered like, it wasn't cheap. It was still considered like, for a lot of us who were in our 20s, let's say, it was still hard to afford. We couldn't just go out and spend thousands the way we do today,
I mean, I'll give you an example. I was at San Diego, and I was walking out the door at the end of the day. I walked by Glenn Danzig's booth, and Glenn had a Joe Staten or Staten. How do you say it?
Who? Jason?
No, Joe Staten.
Oh, Joe. I always said Joe Staten, but I don't know if it's
Joe Staten. Sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, he had a Joe Staten page, and I had Spectre on it. I'm like, okay, great, I'll buy it. He asked $300. I'm like, okay, that's the last $300 of my money. I went to the ATM, got an extra $100, came back, picked it up, and then Glenn goes, "Do you want to buy a Frazetta girl for $600?" And I'm like, no.
Girl, you mean like a pen and ink thing?
Yeah, a pen and ink illustration that was cut out from one of the sketchbooks, But I was like, I can't afford that. I could barely afford the $300 that he was asking for the Joe page,
That's my point, right? You're making my point, right? You're just
yes, I was trying to make.
You're underpinning my. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. It's so easy to think for the people that got in only in the last 5 years, 10 years, or whatever. They all say the same thing. Oh, you guys are so lucky. I wish I'd gotten early, like you back in the 90s or early 2000s. And of course, I don't disagree that it would have been better to be in the hobby earlier.
Yep.
But don't think that oh my God, it was we reaped these incredible rewards where like we were all spending thousands per month on $100 pages that today are all $3,000 pages or more. You know what I mean? Like that didn't happen to most of us,
It's not realistic if you look at it that way. I mean, the realistic view is you only could afford what you could afford, right? If I had like $500 that I went to San Diego with, I was hoping to buy at least $400 and have a little bit left to do something else with. That's food or something. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
that's it. And that's what I think. That's probably a story. I think it's fair to say that most people were more in that sort of milieu, in that kind of station life at the time, and the people for whom $100 pages, they could buy up as many as they wanted. I think that was still the exception to the rule. Like these guys were pointing out, Dave Mandel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I think, he got in around 95 or 96. But again, he was all like Marcus mentioned, he started on third base already, right?
Right.
He was already quite wealthy, right?
He had Seinfeld money.
Right. He was already working at Seinfeld and all that.
Yeah.
So perfect, right?
Yeah.
But that's an exception to the rule. The average person that was dipping their toes in on eBay, looking at this stuff going, wow, this is pretty cool stuff. We were kind of like, ooh, wow. How much did that, like if you bought a page for $75, you were like, oh, okay, that's good. But, the next one that's 100, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
You're thinking, holy shit, that's like 33% more than my last one.
Plus shipping, right?
Add to it, right? You're like, oh my God. And next thing you know, it's like, it's all relative. You're like, oh my God, when you first buy that first $200 page, oh my God, it's twice as much as my last, it's all relative. Right?
Yeah, when you hit the $1,000 mark, you kind of go, oh my God, I'm hitting $1,000. But now you're like, okay, where's my next point of the next high up number? It's like, am I going to pay $3,000 page now? It's you kind of have to cap yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. What's up, Gil? I believe that for some it has become a money-making machine. I agree. Of course, we said that earlier. For some it is. We don't know all these people who are absorbing tens of millions of dollars worth of comic art at every single auction, you realize, don't you all realize the common denominator is that we never see the majority of that stuff being posted to CAF or wherever.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I do believe that most of that stuff is being purchased for long-term investment.
Most of my pages that I've sold in the past to auction houses or to other collectors, I have only seen maybe 5 or 6 pages. Everything else that I've sold is gone. They're not on CAF.
Yeah. He says, as a collector, for myself, it's more. It's for myself. It's more about finding ways to add more to the collection. Yeah, sure. For a lot of us, it still is, right? But there is no doubt, given what we see every single auction, right? You put 2 and 2 together, it's pretty clear to see a lot of this has to be a huge level of probably, hopefully, long-term investment. You know, it could be fun and investment, but whatever. It's still at those levels, all that kind of money being spent, it's primarily investment. You know, for sure. You know, hey Marcus, you remember when the tech stock crash happened? Because I was involved every single day. And I was dying, and I remember seeing Amazon at just around $2 and thinking, and I never bought it, by the way. I never bought it at any price. And I was like, $2. And I was like, yeah, but like I've been saying for years, they're losing money hand over fist. It's eventually going to go bankrupt. So $2 may seem cheap, but it's still going to be worth 2 cents later on. And you know, I never bought it. But
well, again, I bought Apple at 18, and that was when the company was doing terrible, right?
Right.
Steve Jobs wasn't even in it, and it was just like stagnant, you know.
Yeah. But how much did you sell it for after?
I think when it went up to 375.
Wow. And those were the same shares you bought at 18?
Yep.
Nice. Wow. Congratulations, man. Very nice.
But there was also costs and taxes, you know.
Yeah, whatever. But come on. It's like you remind me of my mother with that comment, you know?
Yeah.
I used to try to
tell her.
I look like your mother? What?
Do I look like your mother?
You do not look like her. But you remind me of her with that comment, just because in the 90s, I used to tell her, I'd be trying to tell her, you know, you should try to invest, you know, take a little bit of money. Not like she had a ton of money, right? But try to say, take a little bit and try to start investing for your future. You need a nest egg of some sort, and you don't have one, you know? And I try, you know, I teach her, I'd sit down with her for hours and trying to teach her how the stock market works, you know, how equities in general work. And why one day it's worth up, the next day it's worth less, you know, whatever, volatility, blah, 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 you know, demand, supply, all that, you know, all that good stuff, right? And when I would say that, and look, so I give some paper example of like, look, so then you bought it at this price, but then when it went up to this much and you sold it, you would have made this much, for example, right? And in her mind, the first thing she has to say is, yeah, but son, then I would have taxes to pay. I'm like, oh, God. Yes. Wouldn't you rather have a sudden $100,000 capital gain that you have to give taxes, a lot of taxes to the government to, than zero capital gain? In other words, here in Canada, okay, if you made 100K, just to use a round number, you know,
right?
If you got fortunate enough to make 100K on an investment, okay, you sell out, and now you owe the government, say, 25,000 out of that,
right?
Okay, I had to tell her, like, are you seriously telling me that you're so obsessed with having to pay taxes to the government that you don't realize it's better to net $75,000 on an investment than to have zero money because you didn't invest in the first place? Like,
well, I guess I'm kind of a curmudgeon like your mom is, because that's my mentality. Is like, yes, the possibility of making money is there, but it's also the possibility of extra expenses, I guess, in some people's minds gets to be a little bit too much to deal with, right? I mean, just for old folks, you know.
No, I don't know. I'm still very stuck on that. Like, no, I think that's craziness. That's the talk like that. They even mention the word taxes in such a way that like, oh, like, oh, woe is me. I made profits. I made capital gains in my investments. I gotta pay taxes.
Hey, are we paying taxes on art?
Well,
Well,
you're supposed to.
well, supposed to, yes.
You should be.
We all are. We all are, right? Everybody on this chat is paying taxes.
I pay my taxes on art. Absolutely.
I'm sure you do.
I do. I do, Art. I absolutely do. Still have to finish my taxes, and I've got a purchase that I've got to put on there. Like,
okay.
Don't worry. Sorry, a purchase that something that I bought and then I sold on the collection side, not my inventory side, right? And it's gonna have to go as part of it, whatever, it's income or whatever, and taxes need to be paid.
I miss those days when you could actually write off your hobby, right? Remember those days?
When you can write off your hobby?
Yeah.
How so?
But just
this
as
an American thing. Tell me all about it.
It's an American thing, so I guess it's an American thing. So you could write off your hobby, what you place into it. Like if you buy a certain amount, you could write it off. I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but it was something that a lot of people were doing. It was done. But then the government, U.S. government, pretty much took that away. It hasn't been around for at least 30 years. So
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like something that's been around recently. I'm just talking in the past,
long time ago. Gil makes a nice point, and it's kind of why I didn't want to get into the whole home versus art with Maki Poo. But Maki Poo, see, I can see it down below. He's arguing with him. So as a homeowner, Gil says, and an art collector, from an investment standpoint, with art, you don't have to put any money constantly into it in order to see the profit growth, as opposed to owning your home. Yes, because exactly, and that's what that's the first point I would have made had I been willing to get into this. And I don't want to get into this because it's
don't get into it
all by itself. Yeah, that's exactly it. All the extra costs that nobody ever thinks about when they talk about, in real estate, great investment, whatever. Yes, all the crazy maintenance, blah, 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 all those extra things nobody ever seems to think about. Exactly. So I still say collectibles has been better over time for sure. That's what I say. In the 90s, I was not ready to spend more than $200 a month. That's exactly. Stephen Lee says the same thing. Exactly. It just felt like a lot of money for a collector.
I mean, I think COVID made it even more crazier, because as soon as COVID hit, everybody was jumping on the bandwagon because they were at home, obviously, and they had some liquid cash or whatever that they could just throw into it, and the prices kind of moved up because of the frenzy that or the fever, let's say, that happened, right? And that kind of sparked re-interest in comic art, whereas before COVID, I think it was still a niche kind of market where we were the hobbyists and we kind of looked over the hobby with our collections. But now it's like everybody's on that collection bandwagon.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. And Tom says, check it out. Yeah, but you're talking about buying houses, and people buying houses at that time had money to buy art as well. My house in 97 compared to today isn't worth a tremendous amount more. Not really. That's what I was saying earlier, Tom, to Maki Poo, right? Right? Like if you're talking the long term, come on. If you bought your house and it took you 25 or 30 years to pay it off, right? So it actually costs you roughly, if you do the math, it costs you, when you factor in, all the interest and, I don't want to get into it. It takes too long, but if you factor in everything, okay, there's no way that you've made more on your home or buying extra homes than you would have with these solid collectibles like comics and art and whatnot. There's no way that has outstripped the rate of return on the collectibles. No way. But now Maki Poo says, my only regret though is having missed out on those rare pages that sold before. There you go.
Oh, Daniel says that Frazetta page would be $1,300 today for the cutout figure of a woman. Yeah, they're probably true. So it's only a double for 20 plus years.
Yes. And we and Larry, like Larry says, we're not all David Mann. No, exactly. That's he's an exceptional person, right? In terms of the financial ability to on what you can spend on stuff like this.
And so, Mike from Anderson makes a good point too. He says rent was $500. It was tough buying a $300 page.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly it. And that's why I keep saying it's relative to that time and where you were in your station in life and what life was like at that time, right? Yeah. And when you go back and you consider all that stuff, you'll realize that, it was still expensive to collect art back then too, even if I did know about it back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I remember getting a full tank of gas for $10. Do you remember that? Well, I don't know if Canada was the same way, but in the United States,
you guys always had it cheaper than us. So,
okay. Well, that was the thing. You'd have your car and your permit. You get your $10. You fill up for the whole week. You were good to go. You know, that was $10.
Number one Marvel fan. Back then, you could buy Dark Hawk #1 for $1. Isn't it still today in the 50-cent bin? Like Dark Hawk 1. I don't know.
Well, it got popular again, I guess.
Huh?
It did get popular again. I think they had to revitalize. Yeah. You know, they structured the character again. And put him into like the Marvel Space Odyssey, kind of the War of Kings and Annihilation storylines, and so they brought him into that kind of a section of the Marvel universe. So
whatever it is.
Maybe it's worth $2 now. You know,
good for the comic speculators who have copies. There you go.
Yeah, get 100 Dark Hawk #1. Now you can sell it for $5 a piece.
There you go. Exactly. You're a 500 air now.
Yeah.
So Lee makes a very fun point. In the 90s, I was buying all my art direct from the artist, and he would always buy a second piece. So he'd buy 2 pieces, and then sell one of it on eBay to hopefully make money to pay for the other page he kept.
Smart, Lee. Smart. Really smart. Oh, geez. I didn't think about that. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, so plenty of those tech stocks didn't survive. No, that's exactly it.
I lost my shirt.
Still have some of those old stocks, do you? Wow. Just sitting there worthless, costs more to sell them. Yeah, right. Than they're worth. Exactly.
Penny stocks now.
You have them for the memories. But you should ask them to see if they would still issue you a certificate. Then you can have a cool memory of it. Yeah. The problem is that ever since they stopped doing stock certificates, they can still do it, but because it's not normally done, they charge you like $50 for the privilege, and that's obviously worth more than your stock is worth anyway.
They'll probably send you only a PDF anyway. You can print it out yourself.
That might be true. Look what Mike says. That I sound like his tax guy. His tax guy tells him all the time, if you're paying taxes, that means you're making money. But it does, though. But the more you pay, it means you're making more. It does. Oh man, that's good. Marcus, I think, is referring to when you talked about selling our artwork. Some do and some don't pay. And Gil, I think, is questioning my honesty. And yes, Gil, I am very sure I declare all my sales. I do. My taxes have gone up since Trump and Biden. Haven't they always? Over time, they always go up. No matter who.
They always go up. No matter who's in charge.
It doesn't matter who's in charge. Over time, everything is more expensive. You know, and Comic Art Boston. Hey, sorry I got to you like 7 minutes late, Comic Art Boston, but lovely to see you as always, my friend. And
see, I would like to know from Cab what he thinks about collecting per se, because he would be the one, because I believe he's a Silver Age kind of guy, right? And a little bit of bronze, but he would be a great one to ask if his collection tendencies are still strong, and he's got direction and he's still moving towards keeping buying it or whatever he does.
Yes. Okay. So he came in late. So he first asks, Sounds like we're talking about collecting our original art as an investment. Not so much that specifically as much as it kind of got onto the topic because Maki Pupu made a reference to how this stuff is all great, but you're better off and you get a better return over time with real estate and your traditional investments, like your what do you guys call it? The 401k.
401ks.
Right. So in other words, whatever, your long-term investment, traditional investments. And I was saying that I wasn't in agreement and that it's not necessarily true. I'm not advocating for people to go ahead and don't buy a house and take the money and start dumping it into art so you can invest and make money. I started making the point that I disagreed with Maki Pupu, Cab, because history actually has borne out the fact that collectibles, and I guess we can, if you want, we talk in our hobby, original art, certainly, if you want to go back by any metric, I don't know, because Maki Pupu said long-term. So if you go back 20 years or 25 years or 30 years, I would have to say that comic art values across the board are up substantially more than real estate values across the board. Substantially more, by many X more, and many X times more. So that's what basically we got onto this topic. That's how we're kind of floating around this. So he says, not sure whether he's being irrelevant, but for me, housing is basic, of course. Collecting is luxury, of course. The priorities, of course. Which is why I'm saying we're not telling people to go out and, you're thinking of buying a home? Don't take the money and dump it into art. We're not saying
Please don't listen to us.
Yes, we're not saying that. We're just simply saying we're discussing which one had better returns over time. That's all.
But the main cause of this show is for the patterns of collectors, how they diminish as far as their collections and what their end gambit is.
Exit strategies, yeah, right.
Exit strategy. There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
So how we started Cab is just basically to say, because Hart had mentioned to me in private conversation that he had come to the decision that he was going to be selling some art. It was time for him to sell some art. And so that's how we started. I wanted to know from him if he could tell us all what prompted the decision and what thought process did he go through to come to that decision and why he was doing it and, and so on and so forth. That's how it all started. And then it kind of sort of morphed into this current thing that we're talking about. So let me see. So money was big in the past. Income was relatively lower. So even a few $100 is a lot to spend on original art. So he's making my point. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was very, very different. That's what I'm saying. Too many people that are newer in the hobby keep complaining about, I wish I could have been in when you guys got in. And no, trust me, it's not like as easy as you think it was,
Well, it goes back to my statement about the new hot artists. Should these new collectors jump into that market of these hot artists that are way overpriced? In my opinion, this is my opinion only.
Yes.
That is that a good investment, or is that just the love of the hobby or the love of the artist?
Is what?
Their direction of collecting these new artists, because is the drive for them the hotness of the artist, or is it the love of the artist that's driving them to collect these new artists at the exorbitant prices that are coming out of it?
Oh,
does that make sense?
Well, if you structure it as a question,
yeah,
are you asking the current
art collectors,
current collectors who like to collect the contemporary artists with their higher, right? In particular, the ones with the higher sort of commission prices,
right?
Page prices, right?
We're talking like the guys that Felix reps, right?
SPM.
Yeah, so guys like Felix reps. Do they like it because it's the art that they love, or is it because they're speculating? Okay, I'm going to buy it at $1,000. I can sell it in 6 to 10 months or a year for 6 times that or whatever. Because realistically, I don't see them being able to sell it for that price. You know? But I may be wrong. I haven't been in that market, so my question is to put it out there. Marcus probably knows better.
Hold on, because I see somebody trying to get a little bit big there.
Who's that?
So Karen is asking Marcus. I'm not sure which comment he made that she's replying to, but she's saying, "Does that mean you want to sell your Transformers cover to me?" So she's talking about his Transformers 1 cover. Karen, are you? I didn't know. Are you in the market for 6-figure type pieces in your collection? Because I wasn't aware. If you were, I wasn't aware. And wow, we should talk. We should talk.
Transformers are 6 figures now?
Well, number one.
Well, I don't know. I guess Transformers for me is not like very nostalgic, right?
No. Transformers for a lot of people our age is very nostalgic. Okay. Not only in America, not only in Canada, but worldwide. Mm-hmm. Because of the toys and the cartoons in particular.
Right. So that's what drove it to the comic, right?
Right. But when you think about what all kinds of 1980s stuff, 90s stuff has sold for over the last few years, you honestly tell me you would be shocked if the Bill Sienkiewicz painting to Transformers 1 would hit a 6-figure price? Now, it could also end at like 70 grand.
Okay.
And that wouldn't shock me either. I'm just saying, is there really a big difference when you're in those kinds of levels? 70 grand, 100, 150, 250. I wouldn't be shocked if some crazy Transformers fanatic would think, oh, right, $250,000. What? Who knows?
It only takes one person to make that number, right? I understand it, but for me, it's like Transformers, G.I. Joe, all the 90s, 80s stuff really didn't cement themselves as a investment for me. You know, as far as art is concerned. I mean,
get it, but you are in the minority on that one, though.
I am, and I understand that.
Yeah. It's we can legit say the Transformer as an intellectual property is a legit worldwide phenomena, already 40 years old or whatever. You know, So yeah, it's for sure. So, so I'm sorry. Oops. Sorry. So Lee says, I buy new art based on subject matter, not specific to the artist. I like to have a sample from many artists. Yeah,
okay, cool. Lee. That's a good point.
Yeah. Honestly, I was buying early on, and even then, many big pieces were sold privately. But early on, though, a lot of pieces were also being found on eBay back in the day, you know? Oh, thanks for reminding me, Marcus. I forgot about that one. I did know, but I forgot. So thank you. So there you go. The movie adaptations, Transformers, the movie cover, black and white art sold for $100K last year. So there you go. Easy quarter mil now for sure. So now I'm starting at $250,000.
Got it. Okay. So it must be some kind of investor that really loves Transformers.
Or just well-to-do collector. Even.
Right.
Yeah. But definitely somebody who would love. Absolutely, for sure.
Who did the art for that movie adaptation cover? Do you know?
The movie, I think it was one of these kind of like, I don't know, Don Perlin or something.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Ian Aiken and Brian Garvey or whatever, Aiken and Garvey inking or whatever. Okay. Yeah, something like that, probably. You know, the value had nothing to do with the artist's name, that's for sure. There was no art value. It was just the intellectual property value, and that's it. You know, So Dan says it's more than meets the eye, and so is Transformers 1 value. Yeah, yes, exactly. Takes two to make it right. It takes two to make it out of sight. That's right.
Yeah.
There you go. I want a Transformers 1 cover right now.
Get a commission.
The current G.I. Joe and Transformers stuff is getting solid reactions from those who don't really have a history with either property outside of the movies. Yeah. the new artists asking prices depend on what you're getting. I'm not buying half torsos for $1,000. I refuse. I won't buy pages with blank and empty panels either.
Yeah, that's.
I understand that. When they're that expensive, certainly. Yeah. So look at that. What a good guess. Okay, Marcus confirmed that it was a Perlin cover. Yeah. And Karen, even though she saw Marcus confirm, had to be a second confirmer. I'm just yanking your chain. You know that. I enjoy both and have bought new comic art from both series. We know you do. You've been unboxing them on your channel. So it's nostalgic for me, but I also think it's a solid buy for the future. Okay. And the future will tell. Right? Yeah. The future will tell. We'll all find out. Power of Ultra Magnus on the cover. I don't know if it had anything to do with Ultra Magnus. I mean, honestly, did anybody really, who the hell was Ultra? I wasn't a hardcore Transformers guy.
Don't know that one.
Right. I know him, but it's I don't know. If it's not, nothing's going to bring you the money like Optimus first.
Yeah, Optimus or Bumblebee, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah. Optimus is number one, and that's the bottom line. Ultra Magnus, I'm going to go with it was the power of Transformers, the movie, the whole Transformers excitement from people who were kids back then.
Gotcha.
I don't think it had anything to do with Ultra Magnus. I don't think that character on his own brings a premium to the art,
So does this transfer to He-Man as well? I mean, is He-Man that big?
No.
Really?
No, all those 80s properties, sure, they've tried to, get revivals and whatever, but no, in terms of interest and value, not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. As always, just buy what you love. He always loves to say that, and what you can afford, the appreciation is the bonus. St. Kevin greater than Perlin. It's certainly, or he certainly, yes. He would certainly bring a lot more value for sure. Transformers, as even Comic Art Boston says, appeal to a much wider audience. Absolutely, it's a worldwide phenomenon for sure. You're telling me to not be a hater on what? Oh, on Ultra Magnus?
Well,
I'm not kidding. I just sincerely do not believe that he as a character alone brings a premium when he's on a page over other characters. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think Optimus has the premium, and it's Optimus and Megatron together, and then it's just kind of like everybody else. I mean, sure, some people might think ooh, Starscream or whatever, but I think for the most part, it's Optimus brings the money, and it's everybody else. That's how I think, whatever, and I'm sticking to it. That's my view.
Well, CJ's saying that he thought Ultra Magnus was a condom.
Well, the ones I wear are Mini Magnus.
Oh.
But
is it Magni or
no? I have no idea. Oh my gosh. Jason's leaving. Good
See
night,
Jason.
Thanks.
Good night.
Tomorrow. Thanks. Have a good night, Jason. Thank you.
See ya.
You're going off on a good time. You don't have to hear
condoms.
Yeah. You see what I mean, Karen? You see, I know I know my Transformer. I know what I'm talking about. All right. Don't question me on Ultra Magnus. I know Starscream. Okay. Starscream
is the plain one, right?
Greater, yes. Starscream greater than Ultra Magnus. Okay. There you go. That's what I'll say, anyways. And yeah, surprisingly, because I thought they were crap and stupid, even though I like real dinosaurs.
Dinobots.
The Dinobots, apparently, I don't know. But apparently those dinosaurs make appearance on the artwork, right? Those dino transformers, and people love that shit and they pay up for it. Shockingly to me, honestly, but whatever. It's one of those things where, love dinosaurs as a kid, but robot dinosaurs I thought were stupid. I was just like, what? Yeah, no, I thought this was silly. Like, no.
Well, didn't they have also Beast, like a cheetah or something like that? At one point.
Yeah. Oh, what's the
okay.
name? Tell us, Karen or Marcus. Tell us what's the name that cougar looking transformer. Please give us the name of that character.
Night, Vivian.
Yes, Marcus has to remind me of the days when I had pages from number 1.
You did?
Transformers 1.
Oh, okay.
Nobody cared.
Nobody does. I mean, not then. Yeah, you're right.
Nobody cared, you know? I was buying them for like 75, or sorry, trading for them. I was giving away Ramita Jr., I remember. Ramita Jr. X-Men art just to get some Transformers and G.I. Joe art that were basically worth $75 a page on average. And I would try to sell them for like $125, whatever. And like I would sell them.
You were a visionary there back then. You know that?
You know what? I was. I always say, I always could see what was going to be coming, right? And was eventually going to be, you know, what was underappreciated and going to be worth more in the long term. But I always came way too early for my own good.
Right. So what we need to do is we need to build a time machine. You and I go back. We just hoard all this crap, and then we'll just sell it in 40 years.
Yeah. Thank you. That's so easy to do, of course. Good night, Vivian. Yeah. I mean, listen, let's just build a child. Yeah, exactly. Look, let me know when you built it.
Right.
We'll get together. We'll do that. And that's all we have to do. That's it, right? Okay, Cab. Have a good night. Thank you.
Yeah, Cab.
I appreciate it. And okay, good night to everybody. Good night.
Ravage. Is that Ravage? Karen says Ravage. Or Marcus says Cheetor.
Let me get this one first. That
okay,
was
sure.
Gen 2. What was Gen 2? Oh, the cougar animal? That cat-like animal? Was it really? Because I never read Gen 2. I never even really looked at it. Are you sure in the original comic series there wasn't at least one issue where there was like a cat-like animal?
Well, I think he's saying Beast Wars is the Gen 2. So,
Beast Wars. Oh,
yeah, because I do remember Beast Wars. My kids had the figures on that.
Oh, okay. So who's Ravage then? That sounds more familiar.
Could that be the gorilla?
Okay. That sounds familiar. Is that the one then, Karen? You know what I'm talking about? Is it like a cat creature, you know, in the family of the cat family? Generation 1, though, in the comics? I feel like it was in the comics and maybe even the cartoon, possibly.
Now we're doing a deep dive into
no, I'm
Transformers.
The Decepticon cassette? No, wasn't that the cassette? What wasn't it?
Oh yeah, okay. So the cassette was either a bird or a dog, I think, or a wolf, something like that, right? Karen, Marcus, you guys back me up on this?
You guys gonna let us know?
Yeah.
Rickster, sorry, I'm 2 minutes late to your thing. Now it's Perkins. What's Perkins? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Clear it up. Let us know. Ruben, during those days, Amazon was $2 a share. I just talked about that. Don't remind me of those $2 per share days. Well, actually, I don't really care because, again, like I said, it's not like I chose not to buy it at $2 anyways, thinking it was going to zero. So, and anyways, like I said earlier to that point, even if I had bought it for $2, I guarantee you, if it hit
$10,
anywhere like 5 to 10, I would have been like, I'm out, baby. I'm taking that profit. You know, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So I would have been left behind anyways with a smaller, nice profit, but way smaller profit than, you know, the thousands of percentage points that the long-term holders ultimately got, you know?
And you would have loved paying taxes on it.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I love paying taxes on my profits. Yes. Hart, the irony is that the future might have changed once you return 40 years later.
Yeah.
Good point. Because once you change the past, right? I've always believed, which is it's the one thing. See, in science fiction and comics, movies,
right?
I don't like time travel. I've said this a million times. I hate the time travel thing because I think it gets confusing. But I
butterfly effect, right?
Yes.
But
I do like it only when it's kept simple to like just the simple concept of, okay, we build a time machine just to go back to a kind of, let's say, a famous era in time or whatever. We do something and then we come back. Okay. So there's no bull crap involved with like a different versions of yourself walking around everywhere. You know, none of that crap. Just whatever. Let's go back and do this one thing and come back, right? Maybe go back to get that cute girl from school that you wanted and you never had a chance with. Whatever, you know. That kind of talk is fun. But the thing about it is, like we just said, and like Cab pointed out, is I've always believed that that's the drawback. I do believe that if that was possible, no matter how little whatever it is that you did in the past, no matter what little thing you did, I believe it has that domino effect to this. If you having done that instead of what really happened in real life, then this happens, or that doesn't happen.
It's got a ripple effect, right? The ripples in time, right?
Effect, right. And so I think 40 years on, right? Yeah, you're like he's saying, you're none of this happens anyways. Who knows? Maybe 40 years later, we come back and we find that original art never took off.
Right.
Comics crashed permanently. All the publishers went out of business in the 90s, and because of that, the cons got boring because nobody wanted to go just for back issues alone. Right. Nothing new was being published, you know. And that's it. It all just kind of, and nobody buys comics anymore, and it's all dead, right?
I figure Marcus, after we come back, is like a lounge singer in Vegas, you know, or something like that.
You mean that Marcus is going to come back as a lounge singer?
Yeah, no. We would have changed the future so much that Marcus would be a lounge singer in Vegas.
Oh yeah, right.
He's like Don Newton or something like that, or
that would be. You know, that would be interesting. You know, I'd go catch him at a Las Vegas.
Yeah, I would too.
Why not? But maybe we wouldn't know him if we came back.
True.
You know, that's what I'm saying. That's another example of what I'm saying. Like every little thing can change everything, right? And so, wishing that you could go back, I don't think it's actually a good thing because I do believe it would change so much. You know, and when it changes for the worse. Wow, imagine the regret then, you know? So, and maybe you can come back because in that reality with those changes you made, maybe you suddenly...
The apocalypse?
You died earlier than you ultimately would have otherwise. And you come back to find, oh, you're just a ghost now because you've been dead and buried for several years. I don't know, man. I think it's one of those lessons. Be careful what you wish for, you know?
Well, I'd live as Casper. That's fine.
Marcus, just so you know, I always kind of stuck with Canadian equities. So I didn't buy Yahoo actually in the end. So rarely did I dip my toes into the American stuff back then, in particular in the 90s, early on, you know. Over here, the big tech stuff was Nortel, but they had a dual listing in the United States. So I'm sure you guys know what Nortel was because that was a big stock at the time. It used to be a very, very staid, old school type 10% per year long-term investment called Northern Telecom, you know, a telecommunications giant in Canada. But then they wanted to go high tech in the early 90s. They changed the name to Nortel, and it became kind of like a big tech stock. High-flying tech stock, but ultimately, the whatever, man. They grew, you know, like so many other companies that got too big, too fast, whatever, got into too much of this internet shit, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I mean,
and they went bankrupt as well, yeah.
There was like Singular got bought out by AT&T over here.
Singular? Oh, okay. Yeah, there was a lot of consolidation. So
yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of monopolies.
Thank you, Marcus, for confirming that Ravage is the cassette. Okay, so why were you having so much trouble figuring it out then, Marcus? That's okay. So that's what I meant. I didn't say anything. It was Karen who brought up the cassette. I just said there was some kind of a cat family creature. Yes, that's right. And she said Ravage. So yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Ravage. Yeah. Yeah. And I forgot that he was a cassette, or he or she. I don't know what.
It.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And Ravage is now Soundwave's pet cassette? Really? So Ravage, Soundwave flies along and he just puts he puts Ravage to his ear, like kind of like a boombox on the shoulder, like 80s style. Like, yeah, you know, as he flies along. That's pretty cool.
And 2 live crews beating down.
And even Caesar knows Ravage, the cassette came out of Soundwave. Oh, it did? Interesting. Another piece of info. Even Marcus and Karen didn't say. Okay, Ravage looks like a Black Panther. I said cat from the cat family. That's what I mean. From the cat family. Yes, yes. There you go. There you go. Yes, confirming. Thank you. Exactly. Okay. Oh, Carl, are you leaving? Did you say bye? I'm sorry. Did you say you're leaving? I don't know. If you are, good night, Carl. Thank you for dropping in. I don't think.
Yeah, Carl.
I think you think Karen said she's leaving. I'm confused. But other cassettes were Laserbeak and Rumble. So there were 3 cassette creatures or whatever Transformers. I didn't know.
I'm just getting dizzy right now.
I would have sold all 3. You know that, Marcus. I would. Rubén the Visionary. So okay, Perkins is the new art to invest in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, tomorrow's Transformers #1 pages. Well, I would never tell you that was true. Okay. And I never bought a page of his that was for investment. I can tell you that no matter how high the prices, you know, have gone over the 20 years that he and I have been working together, I have paid the same price as everybody else. No friend or dealer discount. Same price as everybody else. And I've never said to buy for investment. I would never do that. I buy it. I love it. And if it's worth more in the future, I hope so. I'm happy if I don't lose. Hopefully I won't lose money. If I could eventually at least get my money back out of it, I'm happy. So I do put value. And by the way, everyone, next week, we're going to talk about this with Matt. This will be part of the conversation where he's going to make the point that I've made also in private conversation many times over. Something that many of us as collectors rarely, few of us, I think, ever think about or let alone talk about, which is that the point that we never seem to value the joy that we get out of the art in terms of, you know, okay, you know, people can, you know, they complain, they get pissed off when they sold something at a loss. Let's say you sold it at an auction and you took a loss on it, right? You took a beating. And of course you're sad. I think we all are going to be like, shit. I get that, right? I think we all agree. However, we're going to talk next week a little bit about the fact that, you know, Matt and I believe that collectors, even when that because it's rare, you know, we don't usually lose money on artwork. But when you do, I think we're both going to argue that you can, and you should, I believe, sort of assuage your anger, your guilt, or whatever you feel by having lost money on a piece by reminding yourself that, okay, but for that amount of time that you owned it, you loved it, and you got enjoyment out of it. Hopefully you looked at it more than just once every year. That provides value. You know, it provides a certain value. So even if you paid $100 and you sold it for $5, right? You lost 95%. You lost $95. Okay, but if you had it for, let's say, at least a year, all right, well, it cost you $95 to own and enjoy it. It was still $95 to me and Matt, we think, well spent. Because $95, you enjoyed a piece you really liked. So anyways, we're going to talk about something like that because nobody ever really...
Well, a question then to you. So does that mean that the joy was supplanted once we could make profits on our pages?
Say again?
Okay, so the joy that we feel for buying a page and owning a page, is that now covered by the fact that, or supplanted by the fact that we can make money off of it? It's become more about the money side and less about the joy. And how can we quantify joy? Because joy has no kind of value other than what's for yourself, right? I mean, how can I show you my joy for my pages? Maybe that's what I'm asking.
Are you saying that it's hard to quantify the value of the joy?
Yeah,
of course it is. I don't deny that. Of course, right. I'm not saying, oh, there's some formula we should come up with to quantify it financially, right? But I'm saying, like, let's say, I'll give you a better example than the one I gave you. Let's say I bought a piece for $1,000, right?
Okay.
You bought a piece for $1,000, and you really liked it, right? It was something you really wanted at the time, right? You enjoyed it. You put it in your portfolio. You would occasionally look at it, right? And let's say you held it for, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, right?
Okay.
And you decided, okay, for whatever reason, I'm gonna get rid of this one, and I'll send it into auction to sell it. And then, man, it comes back and like you only netted $700. You lost 30% loss, right? You're going to be pissed. Of course you are. We're all going to be pissed when we lose money. Of course. Okay. We don't have to argue that, right? We all agree on that. What I'm saying, and I guess what Matt is going to say next week, and what I'm going to agree with, is that as collectors, in that example, okay, yes, we're going to say you have the right to be upset that you lost 30%, $300, okay? But we also just want to remind everybody that it'd be easier for you to get over that and not be so angry about it or whatever if you remind yourself that, hey, the joy does have value. Like, this is not just a stock that you bought in your investment account and you let it sit there for 3 years and you never looked at it, right? Which is really technically digits on a screen, right?
Right.
It was art. Art speaks to us. Art moves us in different ways. You know, we get a certain type of joy from the art, right? A visceral joy,
right?
And therefore, every time we looked at it, we got joy. Every time we thought about it, we got some joy. When we thought about the fact that just knowing, oh, I own that page, we got joy. So all we want to make the point is that you got more value out of it than just, oh, a $1,000 piece of art that you bought. You got actual joy. You got joy into your life from that piece of art for 3 years, mind you, 3 years, that unfortunately cost you, it ended up costing you, you lost $300. But we're just saying it's the way to look at it is that, okay, but at least it's not like something else where you blow let's say $1,000 on the latest electronic gadget, the new hot electronic gadget, right? 3 years later, on the used market, it's worth $300. And you know, if you hold on to it even longer, you'll have to give it to somebody or put it in the trash, right? It's worth nothing eventually, right?
So you're saying that the memory of the joy is what you should be focusing on.
No, right. Like, I'm just saying, if you take losses, when you take losses, don't be so angry like you normally are at that loss, simply because try to remind yourself that whatever that money you lost, the amount was that you lost, you still got joy from that object that you bought for an X amount of time. And I think that has value. And I think Matt's going to argue the same thing. We feel that has a certain amount of value. Like, it's almost like renting something. It's almost like,
I mean, it's with any antiques. I mean, my wife and I, we go to antique shopping when we were in the, in the past, and we have joy when we buy the piece, we have it in the house for a little while, and then it either goes to somebody else or we put it back to Goodwill, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, it becomes somebody else's. And we enjoyed it for the time that we had it. So you're just saying that art should be the same way?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't know. I think the way I put it seems pretty self-explanatory.
Well, you're more eloquent at it than I am. I'm dumbing it down for myself.
I don't know about that. I mean, I just feel like it's like when you, I mean, I know it's not apples to orange to say you're renting artwork, right?
Right.
But in a way, you can look at it that way, right? Like, we know most of us will not tell our family members to bury us with all the artwork in our collections and get an extra large coffin and put all my art collection in there with me, right? So in a sense, you kind of look at it as a rental, long-term rental, let's say.
Right.
And anything you rent, if you rent a car, you needed the car. You rented it, obviously, because you needed a car for some reason, right? And so you got usage out of it. right? That car helped you for whatever amount of time you rented it.
Yep.
And so it costs you whatever amount per day for a few days. You got value out of that money. You didn't waste your money.
Right.
You got value for that money. So that's what I'm saying. We're just going to make that argument that we feel even when you have taken an actual financial loss on comic art, we feel that you should still kind of be happy that, that for the amount of time that you owned it, you got enjoyment from it. And just try to look at it that way. I'm not saying, listen, be happy and start taking more and more losses on your artwork when you sell it. Obviously, I want everybody to make money on their artwork, of course. But when you take a loss, you should kind of remind yourself that, well, at least I got some enjoyment out of it. It's not, it's never fun to take a financial hit, but at least I enjoyed it. I got some joy out of that art for a few years, whatever. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Does that kind of go with?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think when you and Matt are going to talk, I'm going to kind of be interested in what's develops out of that.
Okay. I hope you don't forget to tune in then.
Well, I might be drunk. I don't know.
You might be drunk. That's why I'm saying it. That's exactly why I mentioned it. Yeah, exactly, Scott. Exactly. The internet's never going to last. Yeah, that was hilarious. Hart would not have survived living in the 70s again, partying as an adult in the 70s.
Yeah.
He's barely surviving now.
Yeah.
Look at that. Pad Bear knows a little history. Nortel Networks was created by Sir Terry Matthews. He was born in my hometown in Wales. Wow.
Okay.
And double wow. Pad Bear, it's like 3:18 in the morning. What on earth are you doing awake? You must really love being here with everybody and chatting and being a part of it all. I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
That's incredible. I remember Gateway 2000 computers back in the day. Talk about nostalgia. I remember that too. Love Laser. Oh, that's you back at the Transformers talk. Yeah, I'm gonna try to catch up real quick. Bands were more sinister back in that time period. They were. They were like I refer to them now as like they were kidnapping bands.
Yeah, they were rape bands.
Yeah, rape bands, kidnapping bands, whatever. Most kidnapping bands ended up being rape bands, right?
Yeah.
So, let me see. Karen loved that computer. Wow, you guys all had that? Rick had it. Maki Poo had it. Wow, the Gateway 2000. That's wild. It used to ring a ding when I connected to the internet. I remember having a BlackBerry. It was so cool back in the day. Absolutely. CompuServe, right? Well, the opposite also true. Obtaining a piece you really want does affect a person's mood in a positive way. Of course. I mean, it's art. Of course, that's what art is supposed to do to us. I had one of those phones with a battery pack you can use for a handheld drill. Well, my last cell phone, as I've mentioned in the past, was the Motorola 8. No, not the 8000. Oh, geez, I forget the name of it. It was the flip phone.
Right.
I was too cheap. I didn't even bother to get the thinner battery. So I had the thicker battery. So even folded, it was still like, I would say about this thick, Yeah, it was about 2 inches thick. Yeah. Got rid of that one. Got rid of that baby in 1998. And haven't had a phone since. So I'm pretty happy and proud about that.
No wonder I can't call you.
You've been trying, but you just can't reach me, Carlitos, just so you know, we're usually on. Usually it goes closer to 3 hours. So yeah, we're still here, my friend. I guess to an extent, buying a piece that you look at as an investment may add a certain level of joy. It could, if that's what your intent is. And then if you succeed in having it grow in value more than you paid, for sure. I don't think for everyone that's the case. No, of course not. I agree with that too. Absolutely. Oh, what's this? Karen's telling us. Wow. Use the Pritchard scale for rating enjoyment of your art. And I want to know why you reacted like that, Hart.
What's the Pritchard scale?
Okay. Yes, Karen. I wish you could jump into you had the ability to jump into the chat because I would love
Let me look it up.
Jump in and and explain it to us, because I'm not familiar with that. I may be familiar with it, but not by name. Who knows? But and you're winking, so I don't know. I'm kind of really curious now, but we'll have to look into it. I do believe that for many, knowing that something that brings you so much joy at the end of the day isn't a complete loss, as it can always be sold and so forth. Yeah, exactly. As long as it retains some value, you know. I got the joy in my heart. Joy in my heart. Okay. Collecting art also gives the thrill of the hunt that drives collectors, of course. Gives us something to do from getting bored. That's very true.
Yeah, it does.
For many collectors, it actually is about the thrill of the hunt. And I, at one point, was that kind of a guy, but I will admit I didn't realize it at the time. I only realized it years later in hindsight. In retrospect, I was like looking back at my time, you know, in this hobby, and I was like, oh man, I realized because of this and this and this, just because of the things that I did, I realized, you know what? I didn't realize it at the time, but a huge part of my collecting and my desire to collect does stem from the thrill of the hunt. The thrill of the hunt is absolutely something that I can't say drives me, because it doesn't anymore, but drove me back in the day.
It's like the fever, you know, auction fever.
Like the fever.
By the way, sorry to interrupt. Karen answers at the very end. Pritchard scale is from Dead Poet Society. It's used to rating for joy in poetry.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Who knew poetry was joyful? I don't know.
Thank you, Karen. So sweet. Look at that. Quoting the Dead Poet Society. I've only seen it once, several years ago. Good movie, but
I didn't like it.
It's so fun. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I just find it so funny how some of you guys, I love movies. I don't know, just the way my brain works. It's like I don't remember anything about them. Once it's over. Boom, I forget everything. I forget the character names. I forget the plot points. And like some of you guys, like Marcus and Rick and Karen, like they come up with the craziest things. Oh, the Pritchard scale from Dead Poet. Like, what? Like, if I watch that tonight, tomorrow, if you ask me to tell you a little bit about the movie, I'd be able to tell you a little bit about it. But I would have to tell you that, oh yeah, like, I don't know, they were talking about how you get some kind of a joy, they're measuring the joy. I would have forgotten that it was called Pritchard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we're just selective. I guess we're selective with what we memorize.
It must be, because, like, seriously, I just like, what? Why would you remember, like, details like that? It's crazy. Yeah. You guys are wild. I don't know. But that's what makes the human brain so fascinating, right?
Yeah.
It's like different people. It just works in different ways, right? The way people learn from one person to another, very, very different, you know? So I do believe that for many knowing, okay, is this one I read already? Completely lost? Yes, I read that. I got the joy. Collecting also gives a thrill of the hunt, right? I read that one. Buy commissions, instant depreciation. You can tell us all about that one, but
yeah,
we don't want to like depress the guy.
Just so you know, I actually have started commissions again.
What?
Yes.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold that thought. Let me try to catch up here, and then we'll talk about that, okay? So what about the collectors that are dead inside and joyless? And you know he's talking about himself. Oh, Mike. I don't know.
You're not joyless. You're just a hoarder.
Oh, my gosh. That's so funny. Let's see. Hey, Carlos is telling you, turn that frown upside down, Hart. That's how I felt when I sold my classic cars over the years. No losses, but at times I miss them, but remember how much I enjoyed them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got memories, and that's why people, like, I've never been a traveler. Like, I never took vacations. Like I had friends who, like, once we all turned, I don't know, 19, 20, 21, they would want to go once a year. No, let's go to Cancun. Like, that was the thing here. Okay. Let's go to Cancun. Everybody went to Cancun, or somewhere in Mexico. It was the cheapest place to go for Canadians, right?
Really?
Yeah. And that was the vacation hotspot. And or Dominican Republic, either or. But Mexico more than anything. And yeah, you used to be able to. This is early 90s. You used to be able to go from Canada, $400 paid for your flight and a 1 week stay at the resort or whatever, the all you can eat style resort or whatever, you know. Yeah, for like $400. But I never did, because for me, first of all, I don't like to just sit in the sun and just to tan for no reason. Like, so to me, it's boring. I don't like to just be in the sun for no reason. Like, it's boring. I want to see a city. If I go to the city, I want to go and see it, right? I don't want to just go to a beach and lie there. So I never cared about doing that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So on top of that, I'd be like, why would I pay $400 to go with you guys to do something I don't like? I can take $400 and buy some kick-ass comics, you know? So, and at least that way I would have something tangible for my money, which in the future will probably be worth even more than the $400 that you guys are throwing away on your vacation. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Again, I'm not telling people that love vacationing don't vacation. You should do what gives you joy in life.
Right.
Because in the end, it's the memories that you have from doing those things that you keep forever. You know, when you get rid of, you know, obviously the vacations, you get rid of them immediately. Once they're over, and you just have the memory. With tangible items, okay, you can keep them all your life even, and then eventually get rid of it. And you have memories, you know what I mean? But ultimately, it boils down to memories, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's see here. Gil says, I've had some difficult days and just thought of knowing that I can buy a particular piece of art brings me a level of joy. I agree. A lot of people are like that with any collectible. Almost like a shot of adrenaline that helps bring so much excitement. I think most people would concur with you, you know? Hart, do you watch Antique Roadshow on PBS? Love that show.
I answered it. Yes, I did. Long time ago. I liked it because it was cool stuff to look at. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I will say one thing. I did see an Antiques Roadshow at one point that had original art on it. It was like a Hal Foster or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that.
Yeah. So that was the only time I think I saw art on Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you don't see it much. So Brian says that he gets joy out of artwork, any artwork he buys. Well, you should. Shit. I mean, hopefully, even if you buy for investment, hopefully, well, I guess that's not the best financial advice, but what I've always done is, even when I bought something kind of like thinking, you know, I think this is undervalued, you know, I should pick it up just because it's undervalued. I still buy it because I like it. Like, if it was something that I thought was undervalued, but I hated it, it was like from a comic I really never cared for, I wouldn't. Even if I thought it was undervalued, I wouldn't, because I'm like, if I ever get stuck with it, at least I want to know that I like it. Like, if I somehow got stuck with it and it was worthless for some reason, for any reason, right? I'd rather be stuck with something I love, right? So maybe not the best investments, but ultimately, it all goes up eventually, right? The rising tide lifts all the boat or most boats eventually. And I'm happy enough. It doesn't have to be the most profit anybody ever made in the history of the world. I don't care about that, right? As long as over time, it's a good return. I'm happy. Good. I'm good. I'm not greedy about it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, even if you made $100 on the page, you make $100. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, you know? So he loves every piece that he buys, some more than others, of course. And the impulse purchases I just sell. Yeah. I mean, listen, Lee, I bought a lot of over my entire time in the hobby. I still buy impulse purchases because I would rather spend the money now and get it, worry about it later, because at least it gives me the chance to sit with it, look at it in person, and let me feel how I feel about it and decide then, do I want to keep this? Or was it just kind of like, oh, it was cool in the moment? And if it was just cool in the moment, like you did, I could sell it. No problem, you know?
Yeah.
Or if I can afford to, I'll hold on to it till it appreciates a little bit.
Yeah.
Then, you know, but yeah, that's exactly it. Sorry, I'm getting to you 11 minutes late, Jason, but what's up? I too had that Gateway 2000. That's awesome. Good to see you, my friend. That's so funny. Do you prefer your batteries thick or thin? I don't know. What do you prefer? Is that that a battery in your pocket, Carlos, or are you just happy to see us? Karen's pages, congrats on the Spidey pages. You ruined it.
Oh.
You ruined it, Jason. I told everybody at the first 15 minutes, within the first 15 minutes or so of the show, go check out her channel. And I'm not going to mention what it is, but it's a cool unboxing, very fun.
It's just a bunch of spiders on a page, nothing else.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, she's happy. She's happy for the compliment anyway, so that's fine. Whatever. The printer scale is from that's from the old comment. Okay. The hunt became very expensive, says Gil. Yes, movie reference for movie talk. The age of Adele. It's Adele Dazim, not Kazim. What's Kazim? I don't get the joke. Is that a joke, or did you make a mistake and meant Dazim? You mean Adeline? Anybody seen Age of Adeline? That's a beautiful movie.
No.
Please watch it with your wife. Hart.
Okay. All right. I'll put that on there.
Age of Adeline. Okay. It's what's her face? What you call it? Green Lantern's wife.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
The Canadian
Blake
actor
Lively.
Blake Lively. There you go.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Oh, what such a nice movie. Such a nice movie. It all has to do with that topic of what if we could live forever? Be careful what you wish for. But beautiful movie. Yeah. I went into the Mind Palace for that one. Okay. Too far back. I'm starting to catch up, everybody. And then we'll talk about, we'll let Hart talk to us about that crazy thing he just mentioned about getting back into commissions. But you remember music. Yes, but it's right. It's different, right? I don't know, which means you don't give a fuck about movies. No, that's not true. I think I just don't give a fuck about having to remember those kinds of details. But truthfully, I would have to say, CJ, that even if I was watching Dead Poets Society right now, at this moment, I think I can honestly say the way my brain works is that even at the end of the movie, as it comes to an end, if you ask me, hey, what was the name he said about that way to calculate the joy you get? Mm-hmm. I already, at the end of the movie, if you ask me, I probably would already not have. I think it's because I trained myself years ago to not hold on to useless information, right? And I feel like if something that useless, right, like the name of this theory of how to calculate joy in a movie, right, the concept may be cool to me, but the name of it doesn't matter, right? So I train myself to just whatever. I blow that off and I don't let it stay, in memory kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever. I think that's what it is. I train myself to just push out anything I don't need, Yeah. So look at that. Caesar's on your team again. He's jumping on the commission trade.
Right.
That's awesome.
He just doesn't want me to ask him for his pages. I really love your stuff, Caesar. Please sell it to me.
Exactly, Caesar. If you want to encourage him, sell him some of yours. He likes some of your stuff, right? So I don't know. Let's see how encouraging you are now, Caesar.
Talk about losing money, commissions. Yeah.
Let's see. So Marcus says he invested in a 9+ year commission, which turned into a disaster.
Right.
How could it not be a disaster after 9 years, right?
Yeah.
Marcus, was it worth it? I would say no matter how nice it is, I would say it's never worth it. Some guys say, "Oh yeah, it was worth the wait," and in my head,
no, it never is.
It fucking wasn't. Don't be such
That's bullshit.
Don't fucking be such a bend over and just take it. Nah, man. No, no.
It never is.
And I'm not saying you can't love it. You can still think it's great. You can. But is it worth the 9 years of suffering you went through? No. No.
Even 1 year is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Great.
I'm a broken record. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Antiques. Okay, I went to Antiques. Okay, we're past that. Memories in the corner of my mind. Slender, spoiler man. Yeah, exactly. Jason, Spidey Pages is not a spoiler. Oh, get the hell out of here. Tens of thousands. But you ruined the fact that it was a Spidey Pages, man. Come on. I'm always keeping it a secret for everybody in case they haven't seen it. And, a lot of you guys probably haven't seen it. And, yeah. Jeez. Oh, yeah, jeez. All right. I'm going to spoil your next surprise, Jason. Okay. Jewish Dragons. Good to see you, man. Hi, everyone. Hope you are well. We are well. We'll have to catch up on Rewind. Okay. Well, you're already on. That was 4 minutes ago. Thanks for dropping in, though, and saying hello. And I hope you hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button, Comic Art Channel, Mr. Jason, hit the like button, please. I always do it for you. And I hit the like on all the people's comments as well, just so you know. I'd rather bring OA to Antique Roadshow than Pons. Yeah. Would Ruben only remember the opening line and the chorus of a song? That's not the only part of a song, but that's another thing. Like, it depends on the song.
You're right.
Like, some parts of it, I can remember. Some songs I remember like the whole thing, right? Some of it you only remember the chorus or just certain verses, but not the second or third verse. Whatever.
I mean, with Def Leppard, I only remember the chorus.
Yeah,
it's like
okay. Because they had a good album where there's a
lot.
Well,
Pyromania was one of my favorite albums.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at multiple pieces of art at one time, how do you prioritize which ones to buy? What are the factors that are most important to you? Look at her trying to start a new.
Okay.
Trying to start a new topic.
Yeah.
When you are looking at multiple pieces of art at one time, how do you prioritize which ones to buy? Shit. I mean, that's.
Well, if they're all Spidey pages, no, just kidding.
Well, that's the thing. It's so many kind of elements to talk about there. We need to know more information, right? We need to know what are you really interested in usually? What type of art do you normally buy? Are you looking for characters? Are you looking for artists? Are you looking for what type of content do you want on the page? We need to know all that stuff in order to kind of give you that type of advice, right? Because everybody's different. Every collector is different with all those little bits of information that go into making those decisions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Superman, but I only like certain Superman,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like Electric Superman and just regular hair Superman, not like mullet Superman.
Right. For a lot of people.
Yeah.
What is Caesar talking about? Are you dying? Then maybe.
I don't know.
That was only 2 minutes ago.
Am I dying? I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
We're all dying. Sorry. That's a spoiler.
Movies are watched once. Songs can listen to over and over. That's a good point. Exactly. I guess.
Yeah.
Even people who watch movies over and over, you probably still hear the same songs way more often over your lifetime than you will watch any given movie, except for Star Wars fucking nerds, some of those nerds, they've watched those Star Wars movies way more than they've listened to their favorite songs even,
No.
But that's an exception to the rule, right?
Oh, okay. Karen's asking us what the factors are for
oh God.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll ask. I'll answer, actually. Hold on one second.
Okay. I look for more comments, okay?
All right. Yeah. So let's see. So, Karen, you said multiple pieces. Okay. When I'm looking at multiple pieces, it's usually what the page tells me, because I prefer pages with lettering. I prefer pages that actually tell me something, because even if I'm not putting it on the wall, I want something to be given to me as far as storyline. I prefer not to get pages that don't have any lettering, which, but I bought stuff with no lettering. That's what we all do, but it kind of has to have a punch if it has no lettering in it. Characters are important to me, obviously, because I go through favorite characters here and there. I mean, sometimes I like Spider-Man, sometimes I like Superman, sometimes I like X Factor, whatever. Yeah. It just depends on where I'm at the cycle of that purchasing time frame. And multiple pages kind of come at me. I kind of say, okay, where am I with these multiple pages? usually it's like 2 out of 3 will probably hit me. Like, I gotta have these, or at least just they're the ones that top picks for me. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Karen, but when we talk privately by email or however, if you really need to know my answer to that question, I'll tell you then, because I need you to give me more parameters. Right, because even though you're asking me, I still need to know the answers to those like parameters, right? Like if I got 3 pieces in front of me, how do I choose which one to buy if I'm only going to afford one, let's say?
Okay, let me ask you this. If I tell you the parameters are the characters only, which character would you go with?
What do you mean?
I mean,
if you're all you care about is, I just want to look for art with my favorite characters.
Right. Well, I mean, if you got 3 pages.
Right. So then there's 3 pages in front of me. So
right.
I'll pick the one that has the nicest images with that character on it.
Okay, so if it's like Superman and it's like splash, and a panels page, right?
Right.
Do you go towards the splash pages then and then select the 2 splash pages from there?
Me personally, not necessarily. Okay. Not necessarily, because no offense to you cover and splash guys. Really, no offense. I have covers, right? I got a lot of covers, whatever. Like everybody, I got covers, right? We all love a good cover, splash, whatever. But I just love the craft of telling stories with pictures. Okay, the sequential aspect of this industry, right? The art form of comic books. So I love panel pages. So I kind of get bored of the whole cover, splash, cover, splash thing. Like, so if a panel page has nice storytelling, great images in a few panels, and the fact that it's going to be significantly less than the 2 splashes next to it,
right?
For me, there's a good chance I will go for the panel page instead of the 2 splashes.
Okay, that's a good point. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was trying to figure out from you, because, I'm not saying that splashes are the go-to for everybody. Right. But like I was telling Karen, it's like usually the page has to say something to me. And with word balloons, that's how I get it. So usually most of those pages end up being panel pages anyway, because they tell the little snippet or the little scene of the story right there. Whereas a splash page just gives you, here's the heroic pose. Here's the guy getting beat up because he's the bad guy or whatnot, right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
And that for me doesn't have the punch, no pun intended, that a panel page with story would have.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Yes, please. Anybody still watching, if you can and you don't mind, please hit the like, the thumbs up button right down here somewhere. We got 15 minutes. Wow, man, the time flew. 15 minutes till we wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
I mean, unless you want to keep going, but 12. We had 40 people earlier. We're down to 28, so it's a dozen people who took off. So we're getting, we're getting to that point. It's good to always go to keep it around 3 hours.
Yeah.
So let's plan for that. But let me see. So with that in mind, I just wanted to tell you, Hart, that Caesar, the comments we weren't understanding earlier.
Yeah.
He was saying, well, so it depends. Are you dying? It was in reference to me saying, well, Caesar, are you going to sell Hart some of your stuff now?
Oh,
right? There you go. So he said, but still, probably not. Yeah,
probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Exactly.
No.
That's so funny. And even Tom is saying, Karen's question, it's a tough question, subjective for every person, exactly. But Karen says to you, Hart, 100%. I don't know to which point exactly. Maybe all of it.
What'd you say?
She just says 100%.
Okay.
That's an agreement thing.
Okay.
I just don't know if she means to everything you said or to just something specific that you said,
Well, Karen, please clarify.
And Maki Poo is saying to Karen, so it depends on timing, budget, and which you want most. Right? It depends even on more things than that, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying.
budget is like tertiary, right? It's not like the primaries.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you're looking at a page and you really, really want it, right?
Yeah.
Budgets become not even a secondary option. It's tertiary because it is the deciding factor is I really want this page. The only way I'm going to get it is pay through my nose or at least fight for it.
Right.
And get it, right? So a budget to me doesn't matter when it comes to a page, even if it's the panel page or the splash page or whatnot. It's just, I want the page and I can't live without it kind of feeling. The joy that you feel that you will feel once you have it in your hands kind of thing, right? We're talking about joy. So for me, budget is kind of on the sidelines more than anything. Yes, it does come into effect, but that's what time payments are all about. I mean, you try to figure out if we can do time payments with the buyer or seller or whatever it is.
Yeah, and just FYI, Karen can tell us, I'm assuming that she was not even focusing on the money aspect. She's focusing on the fact that, okay, you've got the money, but the three pieces you like are in front of you. You've got the money to buy either one of them, right?
Right.
But not all three necessarily. You've got to make choices, right?
Well,
so how do you go about choosing which one of those you might pick if it was only one?
Well,
I think that's what she means.
Okay. For me, I kind of.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
I would be Cyborg Superman. Thank you, Marcus. He knows I love Cyborg Superman. Thank you.
I do too, but that's not Superman, right? Yeah, Hank Shaw. Hank Shaw.
Awesome. And by the way, Marcus, I never collected statues before, but like last year, I saw this Cyborg Superman statue. I forget the name of the company. It was like $1,200.
Jeez.
But it came on this base. The base was so huge. I wanted it, right? I was like $1,200. That's like buying an art page, like, not a cheap art page, but I'm like, I'll make an exception to have one cool kick-ass Cyborg Superman statue. It looked so fucking cool. It was the coolest I've seen. The coolest. And I start looking around, and in my mind, I'm picturing every room in the house. I'm like, where can I put it? Where can I put it?
Right.
It's so big. I'm like, that base wouldn't fit anywhere. I have nowhere to put it. I have a round kitchen table. That's the only place it would have fit on. We would never be able to eat on the kitchen.
Right, exactly. Right?
Yeah. It's the only place. So that
wife would kill you.
Yes. And thankfully, though, I also found out that it was one of these, I don't know, I guess because it's expensive. It's like one of these things they only make 500 of or something.
Okay.
It had already been pre-sold out or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Thank God, though, because I would have bought it somehow. It was stupid. Yeah. But anyways, sorry. Sorry.
Okay, so we were back to if it's in front of you, right?
CJ's laughing his ass off for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, well,
7 minutes.
Probably my haircut. Sorry, CJ. So if it's in front of me, the 3 pages are in front of me, and I'm about to buy because I have enough money for one. Even if I had money for
Marcus.
What was that?
Marcus is doing the Lee thing. Marcus is doing the Lee thing. Buy them all and sell the lesser ones.
See,
means as a profit. Oh, and speaking of Lee, he left us a few minutes ago. Sorry.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Good night, Lee. Good night. Have a good supper. And say hello to Kesa for me. Sorry.
No. So for me, even if I had the money for all 3, I wouldn't pick all 3 because of the fact that I think it's kind of. This is me talking, okay? I'm not projecting anything on anybody other than myself. I think it's greedy to buy too many pages of, that are in front of you. The joy is kind of dispersed among 3 pages then. It's not about the one page that you get. Does that make kind of sense? Because
I don't know. I don't know that it's greedy. I'm not saying it is or isn't.
It has a kind of feel of greedy. Maybe the greedy is just too strong, but it's just
right. But I do agree with when you buy like that, it does make it certainly. I have found personally, you don't appreciate it as much.
Right. And that's where I'm at. My appreciation and my joy is centered around that one.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I find when I have bought in bulk, it's on the one hand, it's fun because you're like, oh gosh, because I've been wanting to buy multiple of these for my collection. I'm willing to buy more, not just one or two. Like I want as many as I can find. But I found when I found somebody who had a lot of them and was willing to then sell in a package, right?
Right.
Like, believe me, I'm still happy. But it's weird in a certain way. I never appreciate any of the ones that came in that package as much as the ones that I bought by like hunting when I was hunting and tracking down and or winning at auction and I beat the other guy. You know, the ones that you fought hard to get that one at a time. You know what I mean? I guess
that's your value that you're placing upon that page because you gave the hunt that's the joy and the value coming together in the hunt, you know, in the possession of that one special piece rather than 15 special pieces, you know, or even 3, you know.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Carl said something interesting. And of course, this is like for anybody else. It goes for him. It goes for some people, but not everybody either. But it does make sense. Yes, it's a. I wouldn't call it the secret formula for myself, but it is pretty cool when you have a page which is a splashy image, so a larger, cool, splashy image in a panel, but then it has more panels on top of it. It's still a panel page, but with one larger one with like a killer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, and then you still get that splash effect, but still storytelling along with it, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. As long as there's word balloons on it, you're right. I mean, it's, you know.
Yeah, but unless it's not, unless it's contemporary art, then there's never word balloons.
Oh, Marcus is saying Ruben would pick steel.
I just saw that.
You would. Do you like steel?
I despise steel, and he knows this, and that's why he's saying
it. Okay, because
he's saying it because Carl loves steel.
Well,
I hate steel, and that's why he's saying it.
See, because to me, steel is Shaquille O'Neal, right?
Right. Steel is a lot of things to me, and none of them good. So let's just leave it there, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my God, JC, what's up? Thanks for hitting the thumbs up, my friend, and good to see you coming in.
Hey, JC.
Mostly everything you said, Hart. Oh, she agreed with mostly everything, especially the words direct. Oh, the words being on the page. Yeah, she likes the words. A lot of us like the
well, yeah,
for sure.
By the way, Karen, congratulations on the 3 pages. Just want to say that.
Yes, congratulations. Oh, and I already said it in my intro, but I'll tell you since you're here live. Congratulations, because it is today that you hit 1.5K subscribers. So 1,500 today. So congratulations on that, Karen. But like I said it earlier in the show when I promoted your video. So for Hydra, hey Hydra, what's up? Hydra, he's simple. He's simple. How do you determine? Well, nostalgia. But that doesn't help Karen because we're assuming that she's got 3 pages in front of her that she loves already. Right. And you know, it may or may not be nostalgia. It's not the point. I think she's got, her dilemma is, I've got 3 pages in front of me. How do I choose? Well, the reason that question is a dilemma for her, I assume it's because she likes them all. Doesn't matter the reason, right?
Right.
So I think, yeah. So I don't think nostalgia matters because if she's looking at, you know, she loves Bronze Age, Silver Age, but she also likes some contemporary stuff. So we're assuming it could be art from all those eras. She still likes it all. So we assume she likes all 3 pages. She wants to know how everybody else determines, which one do you go for, you know?
Karen, do you collect Golden Age as well? Does she do that?
And speak of the devil, that's what she said. So how do you exactly? So how do you go about choosing? How do you make that choice when you have to make a choice? Because you can't afford them all, let's say, or you don't want to afford them all. Maybe you could, but you don't want to. Simply, right? So that's it, right? So, anyways, you got enough of a, you got enough juice out of that question, Karen. I think we can kind of move on and try to catch up here. Especially because I saw our friend David Barr from Australia was here before. He came in late. hi, David, by the way, if you're still here. He asked a question, and I'm going to come back to you guys, but there we go. This could take us all night, but this question might have been asked. So what are your thoughts on artists who predominantly work digitally now? Surely their unpublished work would go up in value. But what do you mean their unpublished work? Do you mean if they work digitally for their professional reasons, you're saying so they are the exceptions to the commission question, where are you saying if you get commissions from them, that value of that stuff would go up just because there's no published work?
Well, I mean, for the digital guys, some of them do one-off prints, right? Irish prints or Gili prints. Yeah, I mean,
the monorail.
The mono print. To me, personally, I dislike digital, just because I dislike.
We're all old. We're most of us are in that age category where that for the same reasons we don't like.
I understand that it's still art. No matter what, it's still art. It's a different type of art for me because I used to collect prints, right, of in the fine art industry, right? They're still called monoprints or monotypes or whatever. But for comics, it's kind of, for me, it's just a little bit of a stretch. I don't appreciate it as art as much as I should, I guess.
Marcus, if that statue is still available, it's not available on the secondary market. If you'd like to give, I'll make an exception for this coming Christmas. How's about this? That's the only exception I'll make. If you want to get me that Cyborg Superman statue for this coming Christmas on the secondary market from somebody, I'll find the room somehow. Even if there is no room, I'll shove it in the corner somewhere, even if it's not in a good place. You can get me that if you want. Okay, I'll let you go there. So everybody,
Marcus, I need a new Porsche.
Yeah, exactly. So nice, Hydra. What did Hydra say? Karen's pages, 3 pieces. I don't know what he's saying that to. Nice, Hydra. I was looking at 2 pieces, but ultimately passed on them. Okay, you guys can talk amongst yourselves. A cover and 2 FF pages. Says Hydra. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe he bought that. I don't know. No, he doesn't buy that kind of stuff. So I don't know what they're talking about. So let's just jump ahead.
Yep.
Mike says, if you buy it and sell the lesser one, you still have to decide which one to keep. That is true. You're still postponing the decision. Beautiful point, Mike. I love that.
Oh, Caesar's asking me what I'm commissioning and what.
Yeah, go ahead and talk a little bit about that. I guess we'll go past 11, whatever. That's fine. If you're okay.
I'll make it short. I'm getting actually several pieces from the same artist. It's Timothy Green III. Timothy's in Japan, so he moved from, I believe, Florida to Japan just recently. And when I was actually in Japan last November, I visited him with my wife. We met up with him, and I decided that I wanted to have some commissions done by him, as well as a few commissions that I want him to do for my self-published role-playing game that I'm working on. So that's one of the little side projects I'm working on. But so the commissions are just for me only kind of thing, right? And that's all it is. A couple of them are going to be superhero related, but the others are mainly for the game. And that's it. So, and I've dealt with Timothy before, so I know he's good for him.
Timothy Green III, is that his name?
Yeah.
I heard the name before. He
did Star-Lord. Actually, Ian Saint would know him because he did the Star-Lord book, as well as let's see, what else did he do? He's done some. You know what? I'm blanking out. But if you just do Timothy Green III or Roman numeral 3, yeah. You'll find him. He's very much like Seth Green and like Jeff Darrow kind of style, where he puts all these little bits and pieces in his artwork. So there's really detailed.
A lot of detailed outline, but never any light source for shading and stuff. That kind of thing.
Well, if you go on my calf, you'll see the two commissions on my calf that are down there that are by him. One's a Green Lantern, and one's a
yeah. And his link, everybody, if you want to check out what he's talking about,
so,
you can do it right now. The link is right below in the description here. So check that out. So check out under G for Green.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, the good thing about Timothy is I like his style, so he's the kind of person that I gravitate to. But you know, it's just because it's him that I'm doing it. The commissions, I'm not doing commissions with the mainstream people that are out there right now. I mean, yeah. So because I don't have the what is it? The budget, I guess, to throw at people that want $1,000 commission for a bust page or a bust shot, that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I get. Yeah, for sure. We all get all about that. Yeah. But did you? Sorry, maybe I may have missed it when I was trying to focus on trying to capture comments. Did you happen to touch upon what prompted you to say, after all those horrible experiences that you had, what prompted you to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to try another commission experience?
Well, it was mainly because the part of the commissions are going to be for the self-published RPG that I'm working on. Okay, so as a byproduct, I said, you know what, I to make it a lot more cost effective, because he's sending it from Japan. So it's better if I just bulk up a bunch of commissions with him, and then he ships it in one delivery, instead of being, every 3 months or so, I get something from him, because shipping from Japan is really expensive too.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. So,
but did we end up answering the question for David though?
What was his question?
About what we think. So, because I think Marcus is clearing up. That's what I was thinking. So he said about guys who work digitally when they draw their comics.
Oh yeah,
right?
Okay.
So then, if you have their art, the art that they have on paper, right, which I'm assuming would have to be like commissions, sketches, and stuff like that.
Right.
Do you think that it makes it worth more simply because, I guess he's trying to say the theory is, there's less of their originals out there, since all of their regular work is digital. The physical work that they do is only what they're limited to, whatever they can do at conventions and at take-home commissions. Like
I would say that's only the factor that would be for that would be how detailed that commission is, right?
Yeah.
Because if they're doing a face and body sketch, and it's just like 30 minutes kind of thing, it's okay. I don't see it being a high-priced item or get increased in value. But if they were doing like a 9x12, 11/17 full inks, with a few background shots and some multiple characters, that you would be like, oh yeah, this is exactly what would cost more, because of the fact that they don't have physical pages, they just have prints.
Okay. You know what, David? My answer is potentially, but the history on commissioned artwork, unpublished artwork, it's in terms of how it holds its value and how it increases in value over time or doesn't. For me, I would say it could go either way. It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if it didn't.
That's how I mean, it's speculation, because it's a commission, right? Because it's never been published.
Right. That's the downside to it. Because I get the theory in thinking, that person has very little original art out there.
Right. Yeah.
So it must be probably going to be expensive because there's so little, and that's possible, right? Just for that reason alone. However, if the only originals out there are commissions, like, I don't know, standalone, single character, no background stuff, it doesn't really matter. It may not really be worth much anyways, no matter if they are digital professional artists or not, right? Because the stuff people may not care about those commissions that are out there.
Right. They might not care about the artist. You're right. But
Right.
On the same point, and I understand this might be a little bit veering off the subject. If we take something like Calvin and Hobbes, which all Calvin and Hobbes, I believe, is in museums or in a university, right? Watterson stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So his sketches are worth a lot of money because they've gone in auctions for big numbers.
No, of course.
Yeah. So just by the rarity of that fact, if the artist is well known and well liked and desired, then if they're only doing prints and side commissions, then their commissions would be a value that would raise in price after a set amount of time.
Okay. Jewish Dragons, I don't know if you happen to see this, Hart,
Nope.
but he was asking, does Timothy Green have any Aeon Flux pages left? Do you know?
I don't know, but I believe he has. He didn't take any of his stuff to Japan, I believe. I'm not sure. I believe he has it stored away right now. So if you're asking him, I would just recommend you just text him or message him and say, hey, do you have any? And when can you get to sending it? Kind of thing. Because, since he's in Japan, I don't think he has access to the.
Try to reach out to him, I guess, is the best way to find out.
Yeah, that's the best way. I mean, Yeah, I got nothing on that one.
We're at the 3-hour mark. Did I miss Rubén talk about poop, blue lines, or movies? I would say you missed me talking a little bit about movies. We brought that up a little. We mentioned the word blue lines. We did.
Yeah.
But no poop tonight.
I'm going to say the word poop or shit.
I may have said the word shit, or I don't give a shit in that context, but I don't think we had a story about shit.
Oh, not Seth Green, the actor. What's that? Marcus is like.
He's joking. He knows what you're talking about.
It's Seth.
The guy that went by the name Seth. Just Seth. That guy?
Well, he
in Japan?
He fell off of a balcony.
Yeah, he fell off the balcony or whatever. Yeah.
Seth.
He went by Seth. He just was
it Seth? Okay,
or am I confusing him with a Canadian independent artist? Because there was 2 guys that had the name Seth around that same time, and I would always I would get them confused. So I don't remember the last names of either anyways, but yeah. Look at that. Jason's telling us Seth Fisher. Is that the
Fisher?
One?
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mike says it too. Yeah.
I guess he's the one who passed away by falling off the balcony. But there was a Canadian Seth as well. He went by Seth, I think, only.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go. So good. So Maki Booba says Knights of Old has a number of Aeon Flux pages. So check out Knights of Old's Cap Gallery. I assume that's where you saw it. And Marcus is letting me know Cyborg Superman statue from Prime One Studio. That's the one.
Yeah.
What do you mean he's in stock? See, that's why now I don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to buy it because I spent literally over a course of a week. I kept looking at videos on YouTube, all sorts of websites, reading up on it, trying to make a decision. Should I buy this thing? And they said when I finally looked into ordering it, they were like, "Oh yeah, it's it's only limited to 500, and they're sold out." So how can
they lied to you?
At least a year later, suddenly they're available on their website. What's that all about? So that's just for that reason alone. I got whatever. Plus the fact that I just know some piece of it is going to be broken when it arrives.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's what happens to all statues, and this is a really pretty huge one.
Yeah.
But it's so gorgeous. Oh gosh. And it turns on the base. I think so, or maybe the video, the guy in the YouTube video, maybe that was just his own base I don't know. But it's just it's so killer looking, so killer looking. But thanks for letting me know. I'll look at it. I'll take a look at the Prime One Studio website, anyways, just to tease myself, if nothing else. I'll take a look at that. Jewish Dragons already knows what I'm talking about. Gregory Galland is the Canadian Seth. Okay.
I wonder why he goes by Seth then. If
Yeah.
his name is Gregory Gallant.
Yeah, Gary Gallant. Yeah, I didn't even know. I thought his name was Seth, and that he just didn't want us to know what his last name was.
Yeah.
I only want it if it's hard to get. No, that's not true. It's not true. It makes me paranoid that something bad happened with it. You know, like if it's available after they had said a year ago it was all pre-sold, to me it makes me think, oh shit, did a lot of people who pre-ordered it, did they find out something about it? Like it doesn't work, it's kind of, half broken or whatever, and they said forget it, they canceled their orders, and that's why they still have them. So it just seems like it's something negative. That's the reason. But honestly, even if I could find out it was perfectly working order and still gorgeous as it was last year, I can't. There's no way I could put it anywhere. So I would.
You know what? Tell you what. I'll get you 3 commissions of Cyborg Superman. Send it to you. You pick one. Send the other 2, or sell those. I don't know.
I see. Okay? But you'll pay for those 3 commissions?
Maybe.
I think you're trying to tell me to get 3 commissions,
right?
Of Cyborg Superman, sell 2 of them, make the profit,
yeah,
for that statue,
and pick which one gives you the most joy.
The one that gives me the most joy, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my god, so funny. Okay, so let's wrap it up. What do we got?
Yeah,
different versions of the statue. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to look into it. Quick Marcus, cancel the order. Oh yeah, it's the bullet version. Oh my god, can you imagine? Oh, fine, I'll cancel and buy steel instead. Oh no, listen. If you're gifting it to me, of course, I'll find the space. I'll find the space somehow. No, I'm joking. But that was a lot of fun, man. Hart.
Yeah.
When we went to the second hour, I was already like, oh, look, it's already 2 hours. And then when we got to like 2:45, I was like, what? Already? What the hell? Holy crap. It was so much fun. And again, don't you find that this has happened a lot with my channel when we've done kind of like shows where like, we had nothing planned. We just came and, we'll talk about whatever we want to talk about. A lot of those type of shows end up being the most fun.
Because it's just bullshitting, right? Or
I guess so. That's
I
guess that's probably what it has to do.
Actually, it's your chat people that do it for you, I think.
Look, I've said it before. You, and not just they, but you, because you're part of them, right? Like you guys all make my channel, whatever level of fun anybody thinks my channel is, any of my shows are. It's primarily due to you, all of you guys who show up, right, and bullshit with me. Like, I've said it a million times. Like that's the whole magic sauce of what I do. Without that, it would just be another channel of like, oh, okay, look at this interview I'm doing and the show and tell, and I'll only talk to my guest, and you guys just watch and listen and comment while I don't comment and ask questions while I ignore all of those comments. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need that. Like, again, we you can find that already online, right? So, everybody, you guys make it all awesome and fun, and so I appreciate it. So thanks so much as always for this. Really a lot of fun. And
thanks, guys.
Yeah, Malky said this show is more joyful than the Academy. Well, I hope.
Well, okay.
I don't know if that's saying much though. I don't.
And we're better looking than George Clooney. There you go. I said it.
You are maybe. I don't know.
Not with this face.
You're the beauty. I'm the beast. I'll take that. That's okay. But everyone, please remember what I said earlier about next week. I really think that's going to be a back-to-back awesome discussion show. Thank you, Karen. Have a good night, by the way.
Good night, Karen.
And yes, good night to everyone too. Thank you. Always very sweet. Next week I think it's going to be really good. So I hope all of you come back again. And with Matt Kennedy, he'll be back. And like I said, I think it's the type of topic that we all like to get into. I wouldn't want to miss this one, at least live. This is a good one to get in live if you want to have your say. Because like I say, I think a lot of people will agree with a lot of the things Matt says, but I think a lot of you on certain things won't agree. So it has the potential to be kind of pretty exciting and explosive, but it'll be fun no matter what, you know? So, yeah, so I say to not miss that, everyone, please, if you can make it. So CJ, good night to you, my friend. Rickster, good night to you as well. As always, Rocky Poo Poo, have a good night. Say good night to Mika for me as well. And hello to your wife. Peace out, Brian. Thank you very much as always. Joy to the world, I guess. Joy to you, Marcus.
Thanks, Jewish Dragon.
Thank you for the show, Hart and Ruben. Thank you, my friend. Have a nice weekend yourself as well. And last but not least, it was a fun chat. What? I certainly had fun. I'm glad you had fun, JC. Thank you so much. And you're an important part of it. I love that you're always here, JC. So thank you very much. And look at that. Geeks and Drinks popped in at the last minute to give a cheers to with the beers.
Wow.
Cheers with the beers. Look at that. Last minute. Thank you very much, Geeks and Drinks. I hope you were listening and didn't just pop in and realize, hey, oh shit, they're ending just as I got here. But it was fun. It was good discussion. So if you have time, I would rewind it, you know.
Leave a comment too.
What's that?
Leave a comment, guys.
And leave
down below.
And before you forget, please hit the thumbs up button here. I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much. And yeah, take care of yourself, Carl. I can't wait to see your next video. I look forward to that, hopefully this week, as usual. And yeah, I'd appreciate it. And leave me a comment if you have anything to say about anything you watch on Rewind, if you will, my friend. Tom Gazarovsky, as always, a pleasure, my friend. Thank you. Have yourself a wonderful night and a great week as well.
Thanks, guys.
Drinks admit. See, I like guys who come here because they know that since I don't bullshit them, they don't bullshit me. He admits he came in and caught the last 20. Excellent. If you've got time, catch a little bit of the topics that we spoke about earlier. It's very interesting. I'm going to spend time breaking up the show into the chapters of, you know, the topics of what we try to cover or whatever. But I'll be doing that over the next few hours. So if you don't want to wait, though, just, you know, stop, listen a bit, stop, fast forward, listen a bit, whatever it takes. But thank you again, everybody. Hart, as always, man. I can't thank you. Really, really appreciate it, my friend. Everybody, we will catch you next week, same time, same channel with Matt Kennedy. Peace.